keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage des nouvelles langues.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
With all the uncertainty in the economy, the pre-election wobbles. Is my money really safe? That's when I discovered the power of a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments. It's a tangible asset that can help protect your wealth when times get tough. And with Noble Gold Investments, it was so easy to roll over my existing IRA into a self-directed gold IRA. Their experts guided me through every step. I've diversified my retirement portfolio with something real. Don't wait for the election uncertainty to threaten your financial security. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. Oh, and hear this. They're giving away up to 10 one-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and use the promo code TRUMP. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Staying active and healthy as we age starts with strong bones. To keep your bones strong, you need calcium, vitamin D, and regular exercise. A bone density test called DEXA helps detect low bone mass and bone disease called osteoporosis. If you're 65 or older, Medicare provides free bone density tests every 2 years. Ask your doctor to schedule yours. For more information on how to be bone strong, visit pathtogoodbonehealth.org.
Hey, Joe, I thought you were retired.
Living on a fixed income is tough. So here I am, an essential worker.
I know. I mean, food prices are going up every day. Thank goodness for benefitscheckup.org.
Benefits what?
benefitscheckup.org. It's a free website where people over 60 can find help to pay for food, medicine, even utilities. I got $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56 WHBQ and on your 253 DAF Memphis, broadcasting stations. It's time to get up and get your day started. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker! It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
It's the final day of July, and it's going to be another scorcher here in Memphis and the entire Mid-South and South. High temperatures, high humidity, just perfect weather for the start of Memphis Tigers football camp as they open up today. We welcome you in to Sports 56 Mornings on this Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you, broadcasting live and in color from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. All types of summer deals continue at Family Leisure. And the first hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by the Big Green Egg. Currently 79 degrees. It's going to get to 97, humidity at 95%. Yes, an excessive heat warning has been put out there, and we're going to have temperatures combined with the humidity that will give us a heat index into the triple digits. But we expect it. Each and every year at this time, that's what happens. Tonight, clear skies, low of 78. Tomorrow, more of the same, looking at 98 for a high and mostly sunny skies with just a minimal chance of any precipitation. Coming up on the program today, as I mentioned, it's opening day for Memphis football with the high expectations for the upcoming season. We will talk Tigers football. We'll talk with Brian Moss at 8:05, who covers the Tigers for Rivals. We'll get his thoughts on the most important questions that need to be answered in camp as the Tigers embark on the 2024 season. DeMichael Cole will join us at 9:05 to talk Grizzlies. Quiet right now for the Grizzlies, although still news has to come out sooner than later as far as the Luke Kennard situation is concerned. We'll talk to DeMichael about that and about some other things involving the Grizzlies. The Summer Olympics rolling right along. Big day yesterday for the United States, in particular the women's gymnastics team. Got a big slate of action today as well that we will talk about. The Major League Baseball trade deadline has come and gone, and there was a flurry of activity. 31 trades were made. Most of the contenders, if not all the contenders, made a move or two. The Cardinals making some moves. We'll go over that on the program today as well. The NFL preseason kicks off tomorrow night. But if you expected to see Caleb Williams, you will not see him, as the Bears will take on the Texans. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. That is your lineup for today. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Fantastic.
You love the hot. You like it over the cold. I know that. You've talked about it before. Do you like this type of hot? You can't like this hot, can you?
I mean, I'd prefer it to be a little cooler, but again, I'll take 100 over 20 every day.
Man, you are nuts. It is absolutely baking out there. I mean, I was outside for just a few minutes and it baked, and I know some folks who played golf yesterday, and they said that was just absolutely awful. Today is...
I went and hit golf balls yesterday.
I mean, again, you're a glutton for punishment, man. You're a glutton for punishment. I'll play... I know I'll play, but boy, do I load up with the water and the cold towels and everything. And again, people get tired of me talking about the comparison to the desert heat. There's no comparison. There's no comparison. Today, the 31st, tomorrow is the opening day for Audubon. Yesterday, we gave away a foursome of golf for the opening day at the new revamped, renovated Audubon Golf Course, one of the many city golf courses that we have here in this great city of Memphis. So hopefully those folks will enjoy that. I wanted to start off with men's basketball. Yes, it's not quite men's basketball season as far as college basketball is concerned. But yesterday the news came down that the University of Memphis and their home opener, their season opener, officially announced November 4th. November 4th, they will host Missouri. So they'll kick off or tip off with an SEC opponent. Get your tickets now for FedEx Forum November 4th. So you think about it, we're closing in on August 4th. Then you got September, you got October, you got November. So basically 3 months before the Memphis Tigers tip off the season. Yet we still don't know if the roster is complete. I think it may be. And Penny is still not, or the school has not officially announced the coaching changes. We've heard all the news. We think we got a grasp on it, but nothing has officially been announced as far as that's concerned. But the opening game of the season has been announced, and that will be Missouri. It once again will be a daunting schedule, a trip to Maui. They'll play San Francisco before they head to Maui in San Francisco at the Chase Center, the home of the Warriors. They have another trip out west to Las Vegas to take on UNLV. We know about their other games with SEC opponents. I believe they're still waiting for a couple of games that have to be solidified as far as the bye games are concerned. I believe that's what they're looking at, 2 more games for their home schedule. Not exactly 100% sure that that's the case, but I think that's what it is. And we probably will not hear anything about the basketball schedule, the completed basketball schedule, until possibly early September. Maybe we'll get it in August, late in August, but more than likely we won't. But you never know when they'll drop that. But Missouri to open up the season.
Yeah, that should be a pretty good Missouri team. They had I don't know where their recruiting class ended up being, but I think it's a top 5 recruiting class that they added, and then some transfer portal guys. But should be certainly an improved Missouri team. Over last year, obviously they struggled, especially in the SEC last year, but they had that recruiting class locked up again. I don't know where it ended up, but I know for a long time, and I believe it ended up in the top 5, but I'm not sure exactly where.
Last year in Columbia, that was a strange game. That was the game, correct me if I'm wrong, Tigers really struggled early and then had the big second half and ended up winning that game.
Yes, they had a second half come back to win that game. Yes.
And that was over Thanksgiving, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood, I believe, because I was in Philadelphia. I'm trying to remember where I was when we watched the game. I think it was Thanksgiving. But Missouri this time around will be November 4th as the Tigers will try to set a tone. They'll also play Ole Miss. They'll also play Mississippi State. Is that it with SEC opponents?
Do they have?
They don't play Auburn, correct?
Do they have A&M again?
I don't know. I think that was home and done, right? Have they played the game in College Station? Zach, do you know? Has Memphis fulfilled that obligation with Texas A&M? Man, it all blends in after a while.
Yeah, because they went on the road.
They played in College Station already, right?
Yeah, they did.
And the Aggies have been here.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it was just a home and home. So, yeah, I think that would be it for that. But that, again, to have any chance to get a high seed, a good seed, in the NCAA tournament, of course, you first have to make the NCAA tournament, but to get a very good seed to make a run in the tournament, you have to win a bunch of these non-conference games, but then you can't screw up in the conference, which was the case last year. But if you can get out to the start they did last year and then sustain it through conference play, they have a great chance to be a higher seed than they have been. Of course, last year you kind of throw that out the window. You throw the Tigers basketball season out the window. You throw the Grizzlies season out the window. And hopefully the basketball gods owe Memphis in general, and it'll be a great season for both. But, again, there's no guarantees even when you have the big non-conference season like they did last year because they fumbled and stumbled in conference play. And we don't know about this team. We have no idea about how this team will come together. Will they have chemistry from the get-go? Are they talented enough? I think they're pretty talented. But just the expectations, certainly not as high as last year. That may be a good thing.
The game against Missouri was the second game of the season last year.
It was game 2, okay. And it was around, no, it was earlier than Thanksgiving then, wasn't it?
Yeah, second game of the year.
What was the game that they played?
They were playing in a tournament.
Down in the Caribbean. That's right. Like I said, it all blends after a while. But Missouri this season will be on the 4th of November to open up the campaign. Memphis Tigers football, speaking of opening up the campaign, they've opened up camp, or they will today, again, facing the elements of Mother Nature. No full pads today, but before too long, they will have those full pads on. It is as highly anticipated a Tigers football season as I can remember.
Well, there's no doubt because there's an added carrot dangled at the end that was never really possible in the idea that you can get into the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm. But not even just because there is that added carrot. There have been years where certainly the Tigers have been good enough to win conference championships, playing the conference championship game. But I don't remember a team not only anticipating it, but expecting it. They expect to be in it, and they don't shy away from that conversation.
Oh, I don't. I mean, I think with the year, one of the years when Mike Norvell was here, I mean, there was a lot of expectation and thought like that. But again, the idea that it can result in something more than going to the whatever Birmingham Bowl,
Right.
just adds a level to it that just was never there.
I know there were expectations at times. Do you think they were as high, even during Norvell's tenure, as high as they were or they are now? I don't believe they are. I'm not saying that the team necessarily will be better and will have better results. I think they have a great chance to do what everybody's hoping they can do. But I don't remember the expectations, even when they went to the Cotton Bowl. They were high expectations, but the expectations for this year's team and them not backing away from that conversation, I mean, people still have to take into consideration, and certainly some do, especially the Phil Steeles of the world, that Memphis has a daunting conference schedule. Sure, it's not the SEC. I understand that. It's not the Big Ten. Week to week, they play a power. I get it. But the teams that are expected to battle Memphis for the title, Memphis plays every one of them and plays them all on the road. That is not easy. So while the expectations are certainly high, and they should be when you have the returning players that they have, they did very well in the transfer portal. They have the 4-year starting quarterback, and they're coming off a 10-win season. If people think this is going to be some sort of picnic, they're crazy.
No, it's there's no doubt. I mean, again, it's a bit unlucky, much like Georgia has in the SEC when there is a consensus opinion of the top 4 teams in the conference, and you have to play the other 3. First of all, just having to play all the other 3, that's unlucky to get that, which will both Memphis and Georgia do in their respective conferences. And then not only do you get all 3 of them, where the other ones don't have to play, none of the others have to play all 3, but you get all 3 of them on the road. That's the wrong side of the draw. But again, if you are
going to beat the best,
better than them,
the best, you got to beat the best.
You're going to have to beat them, and you don't have to beat all of them necessarily to get into that conference championship game and get the opportunity to probably play one of them again. But yeah, it certainly makes it difficult when you look at a team like UTSA who plays only one of the other 3 and plays them at home in the University of Memphis. So it's but in today's college football with no divisions, just in these big conferences, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get, because obviously you're not playing every team in the conference, and it's sometimes going to work out for you with the way the conference schedule happens, and other times it's going to be you're on the negative side of that draw. And but that's the way it is. They want to get the 2 best teams from the conference to ensure the 2 best teams from the conference in the conference championship game. So getting rid of divisions is the way to do that.
The one thing about college football this upcoming season with the 12-team playoff is that there's more wiggle room, if you will, even in the group of 5 to a certain extent, where you don't have to be perfect. And for the most part, you didn't have to be perfect in the past with a 4-team playoff, but it certainly helped. And if you had the 1 loss, you still had a chance. But if you had 2 losses, you were dead in the water. Now, with 12 teams in the playoff, and I'm talking more about the power conferences, 2 losses doesn't do you in. There will be 2-loss teams in the playoff. Hell, there could be a 3-loss team in the playoff, depending on how things fall their way. But for Memphis, losing a non-conference game at Florida State, if that happens, and losing 1 conference game and winning the conference championship still puts them in a very good position. So there's a little more wiggle room. There's a little more leadway. But if you lose 2, and that gives you 3 total losses, even if you win the conference championship, more than likely you're not going to finish ahead of Boise State unless Boise State has a disaster. of a season. They're expected to run through the Mountain West. Or Liberty. Liberty is expected to have another good year. Who knows? There could be surprises out there. Nothing's etched in stone. But there's a little more wiggle room in college football in general with a 12-team playoff.
Well, yeah, obviously. And for I think the American Conference champion, if you're Liberty, if you're in probably Conference USA, Sun Belt, the MAC, you pretty much are going to have to be undefeated. In the Mountain West, probably too, and the American Athletic Conference probably can afford a loss or two and still have a very good chance of getting in.
So you believe, let's say, a one-loss Liberty champion, Memphis a two-loss champion, Memphis will get the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah, because Liberty's loss, even if their loss is the App State game, which would be their best loss they could possibly have, a two-loss Memphis team with a loss to Florida State and one conference loss is going to have way better wins. Liberty just doesn't play anybody. So if they play one good team in App State, basically, and lose that game, that's going to kill them.
How about if the Memphis losses to a Charlotte and not one of the big three?
Well, that means they'll have wins over they'll have 3 road wins against good teams. And a fourth one in the championship game.
And again, that's if those teams pan out to be good. We're just looking at this conference as a whole and saying that the top 4 or 5 teams should be A, B, C, D, E. But we don't know if that's the way it'll pan out. So those teams, how about if those teams flounder a little bit? Then all of a sudden, the strength of schedule comes down a little bit. There's all kinds of...
Okay, well, then who is the second, third, and fourth teams? You might have beaten them. Somebody's got to be second, third, and fourth.
Right, well, true. But it might lessen the strength of the conference. The thought is, and the thought has been, that out of the group of 5, the American is the best every single year. Well, it may not necessarily be the case this year. Maybe the Mountain West will be more well-rounded. So you can't take anything for granted. You got to just go out there and win a bunch of these football games. But again, my point was there's a little bit more wiggle room. I tend to agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate for this conversation, but I tend to agree with you that Memphis or somebody that comes out of the American Conference with 2 total losses and only 1 in the conference will probably have a leg up on everybody, with the possible exception of the Mountain West champion, depending on who that may be. But again, Memphis opens up camp later today. High expectations for the Memphis Tigers. All right, when we come back, we got the trade deadline that has come and gone in Major League Baseball. A lot of moves that have been made. The Olympics results from yesterday and the action already underway for today. It'll be a busy day today as well. We have been keeping up with the Daily Memphian and their list of the top 25 Memphis athletes this century. They've just dropped their 10 through 6. We'll let you know who they are and give you our thoughts on who we think the top 5 will be. Your calls and texts, obviously, are welcome as well at 901-360-8255, the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, a great option today for lunch, for dinner. Bring the family. Maybe if it's not today, this weekend. It's certainly a great opportunity for you to enjoy some of the best barbecue that the Mid-South has to offer. And with high school football starting right around the corner, college football, even your NFL Sundays, Corky's is a great option for you. Corky's can also cater events. You got a big event coming up, Corky's can take care of that for you. They've been catering since they've been in existence, which is about 4 decades now, serving up that delicious slow smoke barbecue. They'll start you out as low as $8.99 per person. Delicious queue. The ribs are outstanding. Love the barbecue nachos. I always get the cheese and sausage plates when I get an order from Corky's. They have great wings. They even have, outside the barbecue family, some great options, great entrees like the tamales, like their award-winning catfish plate, even burgers, amazing desserts as well. The rolls that you get with their meals are fantastic. 4 locations, Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Party packs start at just $7.49. They have lunch specials every single day. And when you add a third of a rack, you can add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 for a third of a rack of ribs when you purchase an entree from Corky's. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Just underway on this hump day, this is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Genesis Diamonds is opening up the vault with our largest GIA diamond event ever. Starting Saturday for a limited time, all our GIA diamond engagement rings are down 20%.
20% below Genesis' already unbeatable price. This means you can buy like a dealer buys with deep discounts on over $10 million in stunning diamond rings.
Savings on every GIA diamond ring, half carats, 20 carats, all shapes, too. Rounds, ovals, ring cuts, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts.
Remember, all Genesis diamonds are handmade to come straight from the diamond cutters that are rated by the GIA, most prestigious gem printing authority.
Genesis everyday prices are unbeatable.
Don't miss this chance to save like that. This exquisite diamond ring, buy like a dealer buys, starting Saturday for a limited time. Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Fox Sports Radio's teamed up with Tire Rack this summer to give away a set of 4 tires every 2 weeks through August 25th. 3 lucky winners will each receive a set of 4 tires from Tire Rack, plus vehicle installation, taxes, and fees valued up to $1,500. To get all the info and official rules, visit foxsportsradio.com. Make sure to enter daily for your chance to win. Furnished by Tire Rack. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
It's the season for fun, sun, and savings at the Volkswagen Savvy Summer Sales Event. Going on now at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, and I've got Jason, the main man Marshall, on the phone to give you the lowdown.
Randy, I've got the 2024 Taos SE, $299 a month, 36 miles per gallon on the highway. 2024 Atlas Peak Editions, $5,000 off or just 0.9% APR for 60 months. And the new 2024 Tiguan's $3,000 off or just 1.9% APR for 60 months. And the list of savings goes on and on at Gossett Volkswagen on Covenant Pike. And remember, no reasonable offer will be refused.
Summer fun has begun. Ask for Jason, the main man Marshall, at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, or online at GossettDWMemphis.com,
where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Starting to crank up even more. Austin P. Highway southbound, getting up on that ramp there to I-40. Looks good over here right now. I-40 coming westbound there at Watkins at the 101 connector as it continues to build over from West Memphis on 40 eastbound across the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry right here in Memphis has specialized in bridal ring purchases since 1984. Go by and see them today. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:29 on this early Wednesday morning. Happy hump day to you. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd with you. We've been following this Daily Memphian list. I think it's very interesting. And, one of those topics you have during the summer. We've had many of these topics over the years here on Sports 56 Mornings that just brings about discussion and debate. There's no right, there's no wrong. You can use your own criteria, but it's their top 25 Memphis athletes this century and what they've accomplished on the court, on the field, whatever the case may be. So they are now down to their final 5, which I assume will be released tomorrow. But today, they released 10 through 6. And first of all, I want to applaud all the folks at the Daily Memphian. I know them all. They're terrific people because they have some people in there that should be in there that I wasn't so sure if they were going to put them in there. But Austin Riley, we've talked about all these over the last couple of days. Austin Riley, the Atlanta Braves star, is number 10. I'm so happy they got Pau Gasol in there because he deserves to be in there. He is number 9. Tony Pollard, who we figured would be in there, at number 8. At number 7, Riley 10, Gasol 9, Pollard 8. Yeah, Matt Cain, number 7. Deserving. Zach, we were talking about Matt Cain, right? A couple of days ago, said he should be on that list, but I wasn't sure if they would go in that direction. And then number 6, we didn't bring her up. And that was my mistake. I'm taking the blame on this one because for some reason, again, I get the years mixed up now as I get older, with Cindy Parlow-Cone, I thought the great soccer team that won the gold with Mia Hamm and Brandy Chastain and Cindy Parlow was 96 for some reason. It was 2000. Then they won a silver. And then she became...
Won a silver 2000, gold to 2004.
Excuse me, silver 2000,
They won the
gold
World Cup in 99. Some of her stuff happened before 2000, but she did win an Olympic silver and gold both in the 2000s.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter that it started last century, at the end of last century. It's what they did during this century and their accomplishments during this century, I assume. Again, I'm talking for all the folks over the Daily Memphian.
That's exactly what it is. It's everything 2000 and beyond.
Okay. But Cindy Parlow-Cone, okay. I mean, I could see that. Maybe not as high on the list. I mean, I don't know if she wasn't certainly the dominant player or one of the dominant players on that team, but she was on the team. So I probably wouldn't put her as high as she is, but certainly to include her in the top 25 makes sense. So you're down to 5. And I've said all along, now I don't know, the way they really are doing a good job, so maybe it won't be Ja D'Angelo, Ja 1-2, 2-1, but it's definitely going to be those two in the 5. You've made a great point about Marc Gasol. If you look at the accomplishments of Marc Gasol, then he could easily be 1. So I don't think there's any question. Right? We're in agreement here? Ja Morant, D'Angelo Williams, and Marc Gasol are 3 of the 5.
Yes.
Okay. The question now is, who are the other 2? Is Zach Randolph on the list? You think maybe he won't be?
I mean, I don't know that you're going to have 3 Grizzlies in the top 5. And if Zebo's in there with Mark and Ja, that would be 3 Grizzlies in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Zebo, he didn't win. Like, he was an all-star a couple times, but there wasn't the big-time awards. Some of these other, like Mark was an all, defensive player of the year. Again, Mark did his high school, won Mr. Basketball as a high school player here, like some of that stuff. So I don't know. He might be, but there's a lot of people that could be in this top 5 that I'm surprised that some of these people aren't in the top 25, obviously, at all, which is a little surprising.
Well, again, with the Marc Gasol, or excuse me, the Zebo thing, Tony Allen's on this list. And I know Tony Allen was a terrific defensive player, one of the best in the league. But you're telling me that Tony Allen makes the top 25 and Zebo doesn't? So I tend to believe that Zebo will be there and they will have 3 Grizzlies in their top 5. But other names, I mean, Michael Orr, are you kidding me? How about Derrick Rose? I know it was only 1 year.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe Derrick people, again, I don't know that he might be in there, but maybe Derrick Rose isn't because of the fact, it's kind of like the Albert Pujols thing, like just the such a brief part of it was a Memphis thing.
If Derrick Rose makes it, now technically you have 4 Grizzlies in the top 5.
Well, he's not making it because of his.
I understand. I understand.
Stuff.
But factually,
that should be held against him.
Factually, you got 4 Grizzlies in the top 5. So you're going to have a big name left out. Could they actually leave Michael Orr out?
If Michael Orr doesn't make the top 25, this was a completely flawed list. That would be ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous because, like I said, I've given them credit. They've looked outside the box. They have names on there that should be names on this list. I wasn't so sure what they were going to do with the baseball players. Again, where they are on the list, we can debate, and we have debated. But one of these people, one of these athletes, and there could be some others that we're not even thinking about right now. And we've mentioned Rodney Carney. There's no way he's on this list. But of these 6, 1 is not on the list. Ja Morant, D'Angelo Williams, Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph, Michael Orr, Derrick Rose. Now, I know Tigers fans will text in and go, Michael Orr shouldn't be on the list because they're certainly looking at it through blue and gray lenses. But people who are really open to look at everybody, all-inclusive, there's no question he deserves to be on the list. But then who's left out? And if you leave Zebo out, you're going to, wait a minute, so Tony Allen's on it? I'm not saying Tony doesn't deserve to be on it, but Zebo's not? So I don't know. I don't know who will be missing out. Zach, you got a thought on that? I mean, there could be somebody else, too, that we haven't even brought up, but I think it's going to come down to 5 of those 6.
Can you go over, was it 6 through 10 again?
6 through 10 was Austin Riley was 10, Pau Gasol was 9, Tony Pollard was 8, Matt Cain was 7, Cindy Parlow-Cone was 6. All deserve to be on the list. Again, I would argue maybe Cindy's a little too high.
Yeah.
I know the accomplishments, but I also know that she played on a team sport where she wasn't one of the top players.
I mean, we talked about. I mean, I brought up Rodney Carney as a possibility of being in the top 25.
Right. We were talking about Rodney, but
I mean, he should be, but he's not. I can't imagine he's in the top 5. And that's again, looking at where he ranks in career numbers and stuff at the University of Memphis and the individual awards certainly should have been. You could make a great case for at least being in the top 25.
Hell, Thaddeus Young is not going to be on this list.
Yeah.
He's not going to be on this list. So, again, there's no right or wrong. I understand that. But it's a great topic that the DM came up with.
If Michael Orr's not in the top 25, there's a wrong.
Well, we'll have...
There's a wrong.
I am sure...
There is wrong.
I am sure we will have several DM employees that will come on, I'm sure, and kind of go over this and debate. And John Varlas is on with us every Friday, and he's part of that voting process as well. So we'll certainly talk to him about that. That'll be coming up on Friday. All right, so the Olympics yesterday was all about Simone Biles and the women's gymnastics team. And what a bounce back for her from Tokyo. Now, 8 medals. She's the most decorated gymnast in the history of the United States. The team was brilliant as they end up winning the team competition. What more can you say? I would think now you got the individual performances coming up as far as the individual apparatuses and disciplines. But
got the all-around. She's got the individual all-around, and then they got the event finals.
So wow. So they do. Okay. So let me get this straight. You have the preliminaries to get the teams into the team competition, right?
And to qualify individuals for the individual all around and for the.
So how many times will they? If you qualify for everything, what are we talking about? How many times that each one of these gymnasts will have done her routine? 5 for each one if they qualify for each one.
Well, you would have you do 4. You'd have the qualification,
right.
Preliminaries, whatever.
Right.
Then you have the if your team makes the team final, then you do it for the team final. But you don't have your team may not make the final, but if your team makes the team final, then you have the individual all around, which if you qualify for that, which the dumb rule allows 2 people per team to qualify for that.
Right.
And then it's whatever events you qualified for as the finals.
Yeah, that's a lot of times doing the same routine, but they've done it.
Well, it's not necessarily
well, they
the same
can change
routine.
it up. Yeah, they can change it up.
Like Simone Biles did not she's not in the for the individual all round. Like the move that she submitted that nobody's ever done.
She backed away
on
from
the uneven bars.
Yeah.
She may do that one in the individual all round. She hasn't had to do it yet because they didn't need it. She also she changed a couple of things. She hasn't done, I think, one of her vaults or one of the things she hasn't done that she normally would do or could do. There's certainly in the floor exercise things that will be done differently. And they heck, yesterday her floor exercise didn't even matter. She could have ran out there and done a cartwheel and stopped, and they would have won. Although she still, she got 11 and a half feet in the air. I just can't even imagine jumping and being 11 and a half feet in the air, flipping and twisting and everything else, and supposed to land and not hop.
Yeah, the elevation that she gets is still mesmerizing. But yeah, there was an event, and I forget, again, I've watched a million of them now, where they said she was about to do, and she has, 3 moves named after her, and there's a 4th. But
she already has 5. And
she has 5?
The one on the uneven bars would be her 6th if she ends up doing it.
Well, whatever one she backed away from, she didn't do it. Whatever the reason was, she didn't do that. And I remember the analyst, it might have been Hernandez, that pointed that out. And, again, so you have all these individuals, but the team competition, the United States reigned supreme. The men won the bronze. So very, very productive as far as the gymnastics is concerned.
Tonight is the men's individual all-around.
So we get to see on the pommel horse Clark Kent.
No, because he's not in the individual all-around, because he only does the pommel horse.
So the individual all-around, you have to do every one of the events?
Yes.
That's where the all-around comes from.
Shut up, Mr. Gymnast.
I mean, no. That's,
shut up, Bart
no,
Conner.
that's only one event. Like, yes, it's all around. That's the whole point of it.
I don't.
You don't comprehend this?
Yeah, I know. I comprehend it. I just don't understand having to do all the. I don't understand why you just don't take. I don't know. You qualify for the individual. Go ahead.
I was going to say the all around is you're sending your best athlete to do all the events and get gold. Like the team event is more of a team aspect. So like Steven guy that did the pommel horse, that's his specialty is being on the pommel horse.
Right.
But he's not a good all around guy. But he's very good on the pommel horse when it comes to like the team aspect of things.
So the two that are sent for the all around, right?
Yeah.
They may not have necessarily qualified for the individuals. All of the event. Okay. Let's take.
They qualified as individuals for the all-around. They were the top all-around from the.
But you're saying there's an all-around
like
competition.
Jordan Childs will not be in it because she finished fourth, but that was third amongst our people.
Right.
So
I got that.
She can't go in. So it's the top two from every country that qualified in the individual all-around. That's why they can't do it. Like yesterday, there were girls who were in the individual all-around who did not perform yesterday because their team did not make it, so they weren't there to perform.
Okay.
And there were girls who performed yesterday who will not be in the individual all-around because obviously that was team and they're not qualified for the individual all-around.
The all-around is two individuals.
Per country.
Per country.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the top, I don't remember how many from qualifying, but at the max is two per country.
Right. Obviously.
There are countries that won't have two.
Right. Obviously they're doing all the disciplines. They're doing everything. Now, they may not necessarily compete in the individuals all of the events, right?
No, Simone Biles is not qualified for the uneven bars final.
So when did they when was the qualification?
It was all the same time.
So that first initial day qualified you for the team, qualified you for the all-around, qualified you for the individual.
Everything. That's why everybody performed the first night. And they only count the top three scores towards the team, all that stuff, or top four of the top five or whatever. And so now, yesterday, only 3 people performed per discipline.
All right. So
they all counted.
So what's
the first
next?
night? Everybody's qualifying.
So what's next on the schedule?
The individual all-around tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. And then when are the individual?
The events, I assume, are either the next day or two nights.
So go through the rest of
that.
this week. They're not going to go into next week. It's all the first week, basically, is gymnastics. And then track and field will take over.
Gymnastics and swimming are kind of the highlights of the first week, and then track and field takes over the second week as far as the premier events or whatever you want to talk about as far as that is concerned.
Right. Well, anyway, it was a golden day. Yes. Now, as far as the medals are concerned, the United States is running away. Right now, they are your leader, but they are not your leader as far as golds are concerned. In fact, they're not even in the top 3 in golds. What's more important, all around, I still think the most medals, it doesn't matter, gold, silver, bronze, it all adds up, so it's the most medals, but you would like to be the leader in the golds, and then all around.
I will add a bunch in track and field, so.
Oh, there's no question about it that probably, not guaranteed 100%, but that the United States will end up leading in gold, and then it comes back to, basketball. Men's and women's basketball, they should be winning gold, and I'm talking 5-on-5, and the men are back in action today against South Sudan. Women's soccer, they'll play Australia today. They're the favorites, I would assume, to win a gold, again, in women's soccer. Then we had
I don't think they're the favorites.
Well, they should be one of the favorites.
One of them, but I don't think they are the favorite.
3-on-3 basketball, that was not good yesterday. The United States fell to Serbia in men's play 22-14. That's the team with Jimmer Fredette. And the women also lost. They lost to Germany 17-13. I don't get it. First of all, I don't know why they have 3-on-3, but that's the best the United States could offer? 3-on-3? They should be crushing everybody in 3-on-3. You should have the right players playing 3-on-3. It's weird. It's almost like, they took a couple of guys from the YMCA and, old Jimmer Fredette. And the women, I mean, they pale. You're telling me you couldn't have brought, like, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and somebody else and played 3-on-3? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't. We talked about this before. I don't know. I don't know how they. I assume that the NBA guys don't want to go play 3-on-3. They don't care about playing 3-on-3.
There's some that would play to go to the Olympics.
I don't know how they go about figuring out these 3-on-3 teams. I mean, on the women's side, you have WNBA players that are playing. So I don't know. I have no idea how they go about figuring out. And some of these, like these guys have played in other 3-on-3 events around the world and stuff like that. So but I have no idea how we are deciding who our 3-on-3 team representatives are going to be.
Well, who's ever making that decision has done a poor job, in my opinion.
Well, USA Basketball. Same
ones?
I mean, it's all under USA Basketball. And I don't know that Grant Hill's making the decisions on that one, but somebody under USA Basketball is making the decisions, I guess, on our 3-on-3. This hour of the program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Go to biggreenegg.com. Get all the details about the fantastic grill. The best grill there is, the Big Green Egg. You can also find them around town. Ace Hardware locations, also at Hamilton Fireplace. They are the Big Green Egg.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we've just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and great quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli locations at Ridgeway in the Parkplace Center, Popper Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Highland Branch. Jason's Deli is wholesome food and no surprises.
Are you ready to ride? Well, we got it covered at Gossett Kia on the bike. Get 41 MPG Highway and 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $37.99 do it signing. 2024 Kia Sportage, $279 a month, $34.99 do it signing. Or how about a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite with 0% APR available for 48 months. Or get 304 EPA estimated range for $389 a month, $49.99 do it signing. All 24-month lease. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, $20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE794066, MSRP 21820. Sportage R7316197, MSRP 28865. EV9 R6029603, MSRP 61035. Includes all rebates and incentives and PF 695. Includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit valid through 7/31/24. Dealer stock only.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes? with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and this hour brought to you by
If you tried to bet chalk in men's table tennis and went with the number one ping pong player in the world, Wang Chuqin of China, you lost your money. Defeated in the round of 32 by a Swede. How about that? The number one men's table tennis player. Done at the Olympics.
Those dudes, table tennis.
They're intense.
And badminton, watching that stuff. I don't know. Those people, they're so good. I don't even know how they return the ball. Like I don't even see it. I can't see the ball when they're playing table tennis. I'm like, they're like just smacking my ball. I'm like, I don't even think there's actually a ball. I think they're just all fake and they're just swinging a paddle and they go in the computer and put a ball in later. Like I don't even know what is happening.
How quickly do you think pickleball will be an Olympic sport?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the next Olympics.
Yeah.
That they get that in there. The moment of the day yesterday was the
rugby.
The rugby, the U.S. Like,
what?
That's one of the most amazing things. I mean, beyond the fact that it's the first medal we've ever won in the sport.
Right.
But to do it as time expired
Last
on
play
a 90-yard run, like, it was.
Okay.
It's like the most incredible thing. Like, I was blown away. I was like, it's funny because Australia, we had them yesterday during the show when they jumped out to the big lead on Canada.
Right.
And then they just got killed from that point on. And then there they are. All they got to do is make basically one tackle, I guess. I think. I don't know for sure. But I think they just had to tackle her. And they let her go 90 yards and lose the game. Like, Australia's, you talk about heartbreaking. My goodness gracious. You could have easily been in the gold medal game. You blow that one, and then all of a sudden you're playing for bronze, and the game's basically over, and you let her just run and score.
Well, I'm ecstatic for the United States, for the women, as you said, their first ever medal. I feel bad for Australia, but I still don't get it. You and I are going to have to read the rules for rugby because
I'm not going to.
I'm being facetious now. Just
I don't
play
care
along
what's
with me,
going
Eli,
on.
once in a while. So she's tackled. She literally was down not once, not twice, and then still flipped it back. I guess you're okay if you're tackled within the playing field, not over the end line, because they threw it back to the one girl. She chucks it back. The girl gets it basically at the half-yard line. I'm not sure if that's the way it's the 1, the 2, the 5, the 10. I'm not sure. But then the girl breaks the tackle. There's nobody there. So there's no safety, if you will, using football terms. And she takes it the distance. And the girl had an angle on her but couldn't catch up to her. And then she dives. Good thing she dove. It was almost like dropping the ball before you get to the end zone like a receiver does. She dove and is she going to be short? And she's in there for do they call it a touchdown? I don't even know what they call it. But congratulations to the United States women's rugby team.
And then
it was great. It really was exciting.
Crazy thing on top of that is that I guess if you score, you have to do the kick too.
Yes. Yeah, it's like an extra point.
And she apparently the coach had told her before the game, but the way the substitutions work out, that she could have to, she doesn't kick at all, apparently. I don't know, but so the coach had told her you might have to kick, and so in the pregame warm-ups, she was trying to kick and was shanking them.
Wow.
And then she steps up and has to make the kick to win the game because
splits the uprights.
The whatever it is tied the game.
Right.
And she nails it.
Whatever it was,
in the pregame, but apparently she couldn't make a kick.
Of course, there was but there's no defense. They're off the field. They're on the field. They're laying down, crying on the other side. But there's nobody in front of them. The girl still drills it, and they end up winning. By the way, the Olympic ratings are huge. They're up 79% from Tokyo. Now, I understand Tokyo was 2020. It was COVID. But then again, what were we doing but sitting around and watching stuff? 79%, they are up. 34.5 million on the first 3 days. That was the average viewing audience for the first 3 days. Yesterday, I think, was technically day 4. 34.5 million. They are watching the Olympics.
But wait, I thought everybody was boycotting the Olympics because of the opening ceremonies.
Apparently not.
It's weird how that happens. People say they're boycotting something and they really don't. It never happens in this country. There is an American Olympian who's made some, or a Memphian in the Olympics.
Yes,
that's made a little bit of news that we'll talk about coming up to kick off hour number 2.
Also, we got baseball galore. There were trades aplenty yesterday as the trade deadline has come and gone. We will talk about that on the show. But when we come back to open up hour 2, it's more on Memphis Tigers football as they open up camp this afternoon. Brian Moss from Rivals will join us. And then in hour 3, we talk some Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole. We'll continue to take your texts at 901-360-8255 and your calls during open segments. Same number, 901-360-8255, the Sissies Log Cabin listener lines. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Genesis Diamonds is opening up the vault with our largest GIA diamond event ever. Starting Saturday for a limited time, all our GIA diamond engagement rings are down 20%.
That's 20% below Genesis' already unbeatable price. This means you can buy like a dealer honest with deep discounts on over $10 million in stunning diamond rings.
Savings on every GIA diamond ring, 1.5 carats to 20 carats, all shapes, 2 grams, ovals, cuts, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts.
All Genesis diamonds are handmade, come straight from the diamond cutters that are rated by the GIA, the most prestigious gem diamond in the world.
Genesis everyday prices are unbeatable.
Don't miss this chance to save like never before. This one's a diamond ring, bought like an eagle eyes, starting Saturday. Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
Hi, this is Jay Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home. With Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jay Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home. With Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called God Hopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy of the FedEx St. Jude Championship, August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and WT538 Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Just a couple of minor accidents out here up to this point. It's still looking pretty good up through South Haven on 55 coming northbound. All the traffic coming up from the south. It's not bad. 51 in from Millington right now. Southbound there on 51. 40 east has picked up just a bit across the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Coming over right now 40 east from West Memphis. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub curbless shower conversion. Check it out at havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:04 the time. Welcome in. If you're just tuning into the program, hour 2 of the show, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you. It's the Wednesday, July 31st, 2024 edition, final day of July. Camp opens up for the University of Memphis football team today. We are broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. They are located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently, it's 81 degrees. It's going to get up to 97 today. It'll feel like it did yesterday, maybe even a little bit toastier. High humidity, now at about 89%. Started out the morning at about 95%. No rain in the forecast. So sunny, maybe a couple of clouds later in the afternoon, and a high of 97 tonight. Clear skies with a low of 78. Hour 2 of the program is brought to you each and every day, and has been for years now, by the great folks at James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler. They've been a part of the fabric of Memphis for decades now. You're looking for that special engagement ring, looking for any fine jewelry, you need to head to James Gaddis Jewelers. You need jewelry serviced. They have 2 bench jewelers ready to serve you daily. They can take care of that. You need something appraised. James is a certified appraiser. They can do that. They can also take those old family heirlooms that are collecting dust somewhere, and they can give it a whole new look. Customize the jewelry for you. They'll give you a free 3D rendering of what it will look like in just a couple of days. They do it all. Full service jewelers, James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Before we bring Brian Moss on, yes, it is the start of camp, and you get the old preseason award watch list. We talked yesterday about a couple of Tigers on the watch list, including Seth Hennigan. Xavier Hill is now a part of the Outland Trophy watch list, one of the Tigers' offensive linemen. And Chandler Martin, who joined us on the show on Friday, he has been added to the Bronco Nagurski watch list, and probably more to come. Speaking of the Tigers, he covers Tigers.
Bronco watches all of people on his watch list very closely.
From heaven. That's what I heard. That's what Bronco does. Brian Moss is the publisher of Tiger Sports Report for Rivals and the Yahoo Networks. You can follow him on Twitter at RivalsBMoss. He was down in Dallas for Media Days. Joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Hey, Brian.
Morning. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing good. You know, we don't have to go out there and practice football in 97-degree heat and high humidity, which will make it feel like triple digits. We don't have to do that, Brian.
No, thank goodness. Those days are over.
It's amazing that it's perfectly timed. Look, it's Memphis. We expect it, but perfectly timed every year when camp starts and then the golf tournament comes around. It's always the hottest time of the year. But I've never seen anything like this offseason. The talk about the Tigers, the anticipation about the season, the expectations. I know you just recently wrote about the biggest questions that need to be answered in camp. It seems like every year, Brian, it's offensive line and secondary. What are the issues with those two areas, and how can the Tigers improve? Because I think if they can, they are really, really good in every other area.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the offensive line, it's not a question mark like in years past, as in, are they not good enough? Can they put everything together? That's still there a little bit. Can they put everything together? But this offensive line is the biggest offensive line they've ever had, and it's the deepest offensive line they ever had. The question is, who's going to start? Especially the tackle positions. When I spoke to Seth Hennigan and Coach Silverfield at the media day, they said that the question mark is who's going to start. It's not a question mark of do they have the talent. So, I mean, that's a good thing if you're a Memphis fan. But, Jalen Nichols, I think, is primed to take that left tackle spot. I believe he came over from South Carolina, and Kedro Lewis did very well for Louisiana Monroe. He came over, so I think he'll be at the right tackle. But this offensive line, I mean, I'm excited to see, and I have it as a question mark only because who's going to start? Because there's plenty of depth. Malachi Breland, I think, started during the Liberty Bowl. He's pushing for time. So does he supplant, Jonah Gamble or Xavier Hill? Both of those played very well last season. So there's a lot of competition, and, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. Now, the secondary, secondary has been a problem for years, but, again, they have talent that has come in, and, they're better off, but, again, who's going to start? Marjavius Moss was a high 3-4-star kid. Is he going to be pushing from playing time? I think the only spots that could say is a given would be Greg Rubin. I mean, he planted himself as I think as a free safety last year after moving from corner to safety. But other than Greg Rubin, I think every other position on the secondary is up for grabs. And we'll see if Julian Barnett, who came from Mississippi State, from Michigan State,
right?
Yeah, can he finally be be that corner that we all expected? But we'll have to wait and see during this fall camp that starts today.
Overall, the defense last year gave up a lot of points. 7 games, they gave up over 30 points. Certainly it's a new defensive coordinator, but overall, how improved do you think this defense could be?
I think this could be, now on paper, the best since, 2014 when Barry Odom had him top 25 defense. On paper, I think it could be that good of a defense because of Coach Hankins and the way he connects with the players and with with everyone that they've brought in. I mean, you have Elijah Herring from Tennessee that came in, and you have Matt Hudson who came from Harvard. Now, I was speaking to Chandler Martin, and I was like, who impressed you the most so far about the transfers that came in on defense? He singled out Matt Hudson. And he said, listen, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, the FCS level where he came from, that's the same thing that Chandler did. He played very well in the FCS level. How does that translate to the FBS level? And Chandler Martin said, watch out for Matt Hudson. He just may be the surprise on this defense. If they can get better play out of the secondary, and I think that's where it all lies, because the linebacker core, I think, is the strength. On the defensive line, you got Patrick Lucas, who came over from Indiana. I mean, if he can be that big hoss on the defensive line, there's a lot to like about this defense. We just have to wait to see if they can put it together. But on paper, like I said, I think this is the best defense Memphis has had as far as talent-wise since that 2014 season when Barry Odom had it.
We saw Hankins and his defense in his first chance to coach up this team in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game after Matt Barnes announced that he would not be coming back and moved on to Mississippi State. We saw what they were able to do against Iowa State. How do you compare the two styles? Obviously, some of the personnel has changed. And the reason I bring this up is because a pass rush is going to be paramount for Memphis. We talk about the problems with the secondary. Well, a lot of that is because of a lack of pass rush. If you don't get to the quarterback, right, the more he has time to throw, the more the secondary is going to get burned. So how do you compare? Do you see it being a more aggressive style getting to the quarterback?
I see a more aggressive style, but schematically, I just think, Coach Hankins thinks more of outside the box. He'll throw more at you and do things on the fly. When I talked to Chandler Martin, and I asked about that, and I'm like, what do you see out of Hankins that excites you about this year? And that's what he brought up. He goes, schematically, there's things that we're going to do differently that no one has seen Memphis do before. So it's not just this is going to be our defense, this is the way we play. Mm-hmm. He said it's an evolving defense, and we will change to adjust to the game. So that's what that's what I like to hear. And the players are very excited, and they really, really like playing for Coach Hankins.
Obviously, everybody talks about the 3 road games against Tulane, USF, UTSA. Is there any other conference game that makes you nervous at all?
Quite honestly, not really. I can see, a track game against Charlotte. Charlotte will be a little improved, only because, Charlotte's not great, but you have UTSA that very next week. Maybe UAB. But as much improved as Memphis is, I think that the only games that they truly have to worry about is those 3 games. Because, when you look at the American Conference, it's a 4-team race, in my opinion, and it's that top 4, Memphis, UTSA, Tulane, and South Florida. Out of all those teams, Memphis has the toughest the toughest schedule, because they have 3 teams against the top 4. UTSA only has 1 team against the top 4, and Tulane and USF both have 2. So, Memphis really has to concentrate on those 3 road games. But they are, in my opinion, they're much improved from last year compared to the other teams that are in the top 4.
You're a military guy. What type of an impact will Army make in the first year?
I was quite honestly surprised they got a first-place vote, but, I'm really surprised. I think they were predicted to finish 5th.
Right.
It's a step up in competition for them. Their schedule is tougher than it was the previous year. The one thing they have for them is their offense. That it's not a true triple option. When I talked to Coach Munkin, he said because of the rules now, the cut blocks, the blocking below the knees, that really hinders them on how they run their offense. But it's cool, factor that, you have 2 of the service academies in the, American Conference. I think they'll do well. I just don't think they'll finish 5th. But give them a couple of years. I think they'll be, more often than not, better than Navy in most years.
What order did you vote those top 4 teams?
I had Memphis, South Florida, UTSA, and then Tulane. And the reason I have USF over UTSA is UTSA has a new quarterback. USF, I can't remember his name right off. It starts with a B. But,
Brown. Byron Brown.
Brown, yeah. The progression that I've seen in Coach Golish, he did phenomenal in the transfer market. In my opinion, they were the second team to improve themselves, the second most improved. And I really see that's going to be a dogfight. UTSA only has one tough conference game, and that's against Memphis. But because Memphis is much improved, I think Memphis will beat UTSA. And I just think that, Tulane with a new head coach, you also have a new quarterback. I don't think they're going to be as good. So in my opinion, it's going to be a 3-team race between Memphis, USF, and UTSA.
So going into last year, you had a newcomer in Blake Watson. And we thought, well, he's probably going to split time with Sutton Smith. And it ended up being Blake Watson was pretty much the guy. And now has a chance to hang on and make a Denver Broncos roster as a undrafted free agent. Sutton Smith is still here. But now they go out and they get Mario Anderson, as you know. Do you expect it to be more of a split platoon type situation, Smith more third down back catching passes, and then Anderson maybe doing the bulk of the first and second down rushing? Or do you think Anderson's going to end up becoming the guy like Watson did last year, or is Sutton going to step up? How do you see that happening between those two? And, there's other guys certainly waiting in the wings, but it's going to be mainly those two. Is it going to be a two-headed monster, or is it going to be more Mario Anderson?
So I think it's going to be a two-headed monster, and that's the way college football is going these days. Very rarely do you see, a one back that's just your main guy. There's in this day and age, there's a main guy and a change of pace guy, and that change of pace guy has more of a role than years past. I do see Anderson getting the bulk of the carries, but that change, it's like a thunder lightning because Anderson is more of a power runner. Smith, he's a speedster. But don't forget, Brandon Thomas. Goal line situations, I think you always are going to see Brandon Thomas in that goal line situation. But yeah, two-headed monster, from here on out is the way I see things going for Memphis.
Do you believe Memphis, if they do win the American, will be in the playoff?
I do. Because when you look at the schedule, I know a lot of talk is about Boise State, but in my opinion, the Memphis schedule is better than Boise State. And 8 out of the past 10 years, the American Conference winner it represents in the New Year Six. I just think the American Conference is a better conference than where Boise is out there in the Mountain West. And it's right. Whoever wins the American, I'm not sure the American is going to have an undefeated champion. I can see Memphis losing one game before going to the American Conference Championship. But I don't think, the Mountain West champion, which I believe will be Boise, they're not going to be undefeated either. So it's going to be a real fun season to watch. But, yeah, I think the odds-on favorite, whoever wins the American, in my opinion, is going to be Memphis. I think they'll go to the college football playoff.
Well, I think you're right as far as Boise is concerned. To ask them to go undefeated, or to ask Memphis or anybody for that matter to go undefeated in the conference, that's a big ask. And Boise, the favorite out there in the Mountain West, still has to play Oregon non-conference. Memphis has to play, as you know, Florida State. So all things even, if they both are 2-loss, 1 in the conference champions, I think Memphis will get the nod over Boise. But 1 loss is fine. 2 losses in the conference, even winning the conference championship, meaning 3 overall losses, I think you're done in. So there is a little bit more wiggle room. We talked about this earlier in the show, but not a ton of wiggle room. So it would benefit Memphis certainly in these games. And we saw last year, Brian, you were at, if not all of them, most of them, that you get into those shootouts, anything can happen. Memphis had to pull games out in the last minute with a last-minute down the field drive, and you cannot afford to do that. They need to put teams away, and the best way to do that is obviously to get some defensive stops. Don't get into a slugfest, a scoring fest with a UAB or a Charlotte, teams that aren't even projected to be that high up on the list, because maybe this time around you don't get the chance to come back, or you're not able to come back. So I think putting the hammer down and not going into that final quarter where it's still a ball game would behoove the Memphis Tigers this year.
Oh, I definitely agree. And, Seth talked about that during the AAC Media Day, that they have to, there's, where Memphis went 6-6, the second and third year under Silverfield, they didn't win those close games. The first year and last year, they did win those close games. But like you said, they don't want to be in that position. They want to have that killer mentality of, let's finish them early and not coast. Because he talked about that, mentally they felt that they did take their foot off the gas a little bit, but he said that wasn't on the coaches, that was on the players. It's on the players to not, take their foot off the gas. So they have to mature in a way to, continue that killer mentality to, put these guys away. And but defensively, I think we saw more than offense, letting the foot off the gas. But they got the players now, I believe, that they won't have it. And Seth is obviously a little bit older. He talked about his maturity and his leadership, where now he's more of a vocal leader, whereas before he didn't speak. He let his play be the leadership, do all his talking. But now, going into this fourth year, he's a verbal leader, and he mentioned that he's getting on players more than he ever has. So he's grown himself into a leader, and I don't think you'll see that happen very much at all with him being the vocal leader that he says he is.
Yeah, it's very important for him to be that leader, no question about it. I think the motto should be, if not now, when? This should be the year for the Memphis Tigers. Of course, Brian will have you covered at the Tigers Sports Report. He's the publisher. It's part of the Rivals and the Yahoo networks. You can follow him on Twitter at RivalsBMoss. Brian, always great to catch up with you. We'll do it again soon.
I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
You too. Shoot 360 Memphis. Looking forward to going over there on Friday to check out the Cordova location for the very first time. Of course, it is now open. They have the Collierville location as well. If you're looking to become a better all-around basketball player, but in particular, a better shooter, this is the place for you. It's the same system that stars like Steph Curry use. That's not hyperbole. That is the God's honest truth. It's a revolutionary training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with expert coaching to improve shooting skills. The facility is equipped with advanced shooting machines that provide real-time feedback on shooting accuracy and arc and depth, which is extremely important to become a better shooter. Players can track their progress and analyze their performance. Players of all skill levels can benefit from the personalized training programs that they offer. They use something called NOAA Analytics, which was developed by NASA and Carnegie Mellon College. Everything the athletes do in their facility is recorded and stored in a members app. You can watch their progress in real time. As I mentioned, they're now open in Cordova to go along with their Collierville location. You can become a member at either one, or you can become a member at both. And they have transitioned to monthly memberships. So you can go out there, try it for a month, see what you think, and then go from there. You can give them a call, 901-316-5500. Take a tour of the facility, or go online to sign up. Shoot 360 Memphis online. It's Shoot 360 Memphis, where the preps and pros go to get their shot on. We get back to Olympics talk when we return, and then a little bit later on, baseball, Grizzlies. It's all coming up as we continue on Sports 56 Mornings, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Basketball shooting and passing skills to new levels at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge science and technology and provides instant objective feedback with actual hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching that will help make you the best basketball
Shoot 360 will have another bigger location in Cordova. Shoot 360 in Collierville and soon in Cordova will transition from 3 and 6 month memberships to a monthly membership model. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent or NBA player, all skill levels use the Shoot 360 basketball program to learn proper shooting techniques, improve their fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge. Shoot 360 Memphis. Call them today at 901-316-5500. That's 316-5500. Or visit them at 85 Market Center Drive in Collierville. And coming in July to Cordova. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Genesis Diamonds is opening up the vault with our largest GIA diamond event ever. Starting Saturday for a limited time, all our GIA diamond engagement rings are down 20%.
That's 20% below Genesis' already unbeatable price. This means you can buy like a dealer buys with deep discounts on over $10 million in stunning diamond rings.
Savings on every GIA diamond ring. 1.5 carats to 20 carats, all shapes too. Records, ovals, rings, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts.
Remember, all Genesis diamonds are handmade, come straight from the diamond cutters that are rated by the GIA, the most prestigious gem printing in the world.
Genesis everyday prices are unbeatable.
Don't miss this chance to save like never before. This exquisite diamond ring, bought like a daily price, starting Saturday for a limited time. Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds.
It's the season for fun, sun, and savings at the Volkswagen Savvy Summer Sales Event. Going on now at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, and I've got Jason, the main man Marshall, on the phone to give you the lowdown.
Randy, I've got the 2024 Taos SE, $299 a month, 36 miles per gallon on the highway. 2024 Atlas Peak Editions, $5,000 off or just 0.9% APR for 60 months. And the new 2024 Tiguan's, $3,000 off or just 1.9% APR for 60 months. And the list of savings goes on and on at Gossett Volkswagen on Covenant Pike. And remember, no reasonable offer will be refused.
Summer fun has begun. Ask for Jason, the main man Marshall, at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, or online at GossettVWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A little bit of volume has developed here in the last few minutes coming westbound I-40, let's say from Germantown Parkway all the way up to Sycamore View Road. You get on that 240 flyover. Some of that traffic there is getting off onto Sam Cooper coming inbound. Still looks good at the moment. 55 northbound up from the south. It's been pretty wild in South Memphis this morning in certain areas, but it's actually looking pretty good up through there right now on 55 at State Line Road. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin list line from Grizzly Steve says, I don't think you guys are giving UAB enough credit. They have an NFL coach. I think they're going to be very much improved. I'm just saying don't sleep on them because they can score.
I completely agree. I didn't bring it up there when Brian was on, but I have brought them up in the past. They're a scary team. Trent Dilfer has been on our show. You're right. Former NFL quarterback, Super Bowl champion, Baltimore Ravens quarterback, and he's got some things up his sleeve. Yeah, UAB is a team. Look, I don't think they're as well-rounded, even close to what Memphis is, and Memphis should take care of business against them. And the game's here after playing down in Birmingham last year in a shootout. But they'll score points. UAB will surprise some teams in the conference this year, no question.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do in year 2 under him. I mean, just because he played at the NFL doesn't mean he's a great coach.
No, but he was a very successful high school coach. I know about the high school he coached.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had pros basically there. I understand that.
A little different situation.
But just having him on the show and being able to talk to him and kind of pick his brain, I think he's very, very intelligent guy. Speaking of college football, did you see the story yesterday about Sonny Dykes and TCU? Analysts now, which have been a part of college football for a long time, can now be on the field. So you can have like 1 million coaches on there. Sonny Dykes, they announced yesterday, he has added not only Todd Graham, who's been a head coach at several programs, including, Pitt, Arizona State, maybe. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head. But Dana Holgerson. So he's got Holgerson and Graham to add to his staff. Just, again, whatever you think of those coaches, the bottom line is they are veteran head coaches. And Sonny Dykes is a veteran head coach. Yet to go out there and get those guys, because with football, you're not dealing with a 15-man roster here. You're dealing with a lot of players. And to have these different coaches with the experience they have can only help. So you're going to see a lot more of that, I believe, in the future, especially with these analysts being able to be on the field during games, not only in practice. All right, you wanted to talk about the situation with the Germantown young man who is now competing in the triathlon, which is finally going on in Paris because I guess they cleaned up the Seine River enough for the guys to do the guys and gals to do the swim.
Yeah, they're doing both the women's and men's triathlon today after they had to push the men's back. But Seth Ryder, who is from here and competing in the triathlon, caught some people's attention with his preparation, I guess, for,
if you want to call it that,
the triathlon in Paris. He said, "We know there's going to be some E. coli exposure, so I just try to increase my E. coli threshold by exposing myself to a bit of E. coli in your day-to-day life. It's actually backed by science, proven methods, just little things throughout your day, like not washing your hands after you go to the bathroom."
That made me sick when I read that.
So we talked about these people. Yeah, listen, you've prepared for 4 years for this moment. You got to be ready for everything.
You don't want to be remembered for that. I hopefully he goes out there and performs admirably. Could you imagine?
Over all these people, they don't get extremely sick and die or grow a third arm or whatever.
No. We've probably eaten worse, to be honest with you.
I didn't realize people have not been allowed to swim in that river for 100 years.
I was on a boat on the river, but never in the river.
They spent over $1 billion trying to make this river clean enough to be able to hold these events. And then they blamed the delay. It was on the rain that came through. I don't know, but apparently it was good enough, which is, I don't know how much I'd trust it, but they say it's good enough today for people to get in it. They still have the marathon swim or whatever that's supposed to be held in it, although I think they've got a backup place they could hold that one.
Somebody's pool.
But this, I'm not sure. Last thing I need to do is jump in a contaminated river and then have to get out and bike for 50 miles and run a marathon. It's bad enough if all I was doing is the swimming through this contaminated river, but then I got to try and stay healthy to finish the rest of my triathlon.
A river of crap.
So I guess not washing your hands after you go to the bathroom, small sacrifice to make to try and get yourself ready for the triathlon. It's your Olympic moment.
So how about this?
He didn't go the whole 4 years without washing his hands.
No, but okay. How about if Seth Ryder wins the triathlon, comes back to the Memphis area, and you get to see him, and you congratulate him, do you just simply fist bump, or do you shake his hand?
Well, I assume by
Seth,
then,
have you washed your hands since the triathlon?
To me, with the triathlon, once they get out of the river and they go, the biking is next, right? They go,
yes, running's last.
Like there should be like guys with like fire hoses there with clean water rinsing people off and before they get on their bike. Like, hey, if you want to rinse off the crap, we'll do that for you before you go get on your bike. It's optional. It's an optional rinse off. We don't want you to have a third eye by the time you get off the bike. We don't know what you just swam through, but it's just...
At least some sanitizer to rub on your hands, right?
Like
Here you go, guys spraying the sanitizer in your hand.
It's just weird to me that like one day it wasn't okay, like the next day, like, no, it's like it's clearly not clean. Like is it clean enough? You know, it just barely is below the level. Like it's teetering. Like if one of those people urinates during the swim, it probably kicks it back up over the level. Like, let's be honest. Like they just put enough whatever in there. Like, there we go. Got it. Get these races underway. Now we can say it's okay. Like after the race, guarantee you test it again. No, it's not going to be okay.
They got like an inspector down there with a little tube, and he's checking it out.
This is dangerous stuff for these people, man. We're going to find out that like I don't know how many people are competing in the Olympic triathlon, but there are going to be some. If I'm one of the other Olympians, especially if I haven't done my event yet, like it's next week, I'm coming nowhere near any of the triathletes. Y'all, you might as well have COVID. Get into your isolation booth, whatever. Stay away from the rest of our athletes. You guys do not get to come close to anybody.
Fresh bottled water from the Sin.
I mean,
available now for all athletes.
Look, the decathlon and the triathlon athletes would better off be swimming in wine. To be honest with you.
All right, so
and Matt Texas is, I bet in your lifetime you've shaken 100 people's hands that do not wash their hands.
No question.
Oh, no doubt.
No question about it. And we've
doubt.
swallowed again. I'm sure we've swallowed at times worse. I mean, not only E. coli and stuff like that, feces. I mean, there's all kinds. Who knows what germs and stuff have been in our mouth and actually swallowed.
I mean, just all you could do is go into a public restroom and just watch people, and you know because there's a lot of people that do not wash their hands.
Hey, do you ever think about who's cooking your food, for goodness sakes?
No, but there's a sign in the bathroom that says employees must wash their hands.
Oh, sure.
So they would never disobey that sign.
How many times have you gone into that bathroom, seen that sign, and there was no soap or no towels? And you wonder, does he turn around and do a Poppy from Seinfeld and not wash his hands or her hands because, well, there's no soap and there's no towels, then my hands will be wet. So, yeah.
I don't use soap.
think these...
I admit I do not use soap.
these guys will survive. These guys and gals will survive. Women's soccer today versus Australia. Men's soccer, which is under 23, the U23, yesterday beat Guinea 3-0. So after losing their initial match with France 3-0, they've come back and won. Haven't all the matches the United States have competed in have been 3-0, right? They lost the first one 3-0. I think they won the next two 3-0. They advanced to the quarters for the first time in 24 years.
Good for them.
I like this team more than I like the men's national team.
Right. I think a lot of people actually like the team's playing hard. They seem to be well coached.
Well, they're also playing against other U23 teams.
Well, that's fair.
Well, right.
But at least they're willing to put up goals and stuff, man.
Yesterday,
who was the second game against?
Oh, it was.
Well, it's bad. They played France. France beat the crap out of them.
Yeah,
right. Just because you beat the guinea pigs and whoever else, let's take it.
Who was it in the second match? It wasn't
because they tied with.
No, they lost 3-0, then they won, I think, 3-0, then they won again 3-0. It wasn't Germany, was it? I mean, it was somebody like decent, I think, but I don't remember. Actually, look that up if you can, Zach. We'll get that. I wanted to mention here before we take our next time out is men's basketball, of course, today, United States versus South Sudan. Point spread 29.5.
That's what it was yesterday. That's at 2 o'clock, by the way. The women's soccer match is at noon.
Well, yesterday.
In the midst of that, too, Katie Ledecky will win her next gold.
Is it the long one? I mean, those long races.
This is the 1,500.
She wins going away in the long races. It's not even close. She laps the field.
This is the one. Now, I don't know. I didn't see the qualifying. Unless somebody did something. I don't know how much she won the qualifying by.
Oh, gosh. In
the 1,500.
So much.
1,500, I believe she has the top 19 times ever swam. In the 800, she has the top 29 times ever swam.
Yeah. Endurance is unbelievable for that woman.
She could swim her 30th best time that she's ever swam in her life, and nobody can beat her.
Basketball yesterday, men's basketball, France beat Japan. And they should have beaten Japan, but you had Rui Hachimura, who was thrown out of the game. Yet Japan has a 4-point lead with 10 seconds left, and they give up a 3 and a foul for a 4-point play. There was over 24,000 people at the arena to watch France and Japan. France, the Parisians are really supporting the Olympics.
Yeah.
Big time. All those venues seem to be sold out. The ratings are incredible. Yes, we've had some controversy because there has to be controversy. And I'm not talking about the feces in the Seine River. But the Olympics so far have been great. They've been absolutely great. So today will be a big day.
That was Zambia that they played.
Zambia. Okay. So it wasn't quite Germany.
So let's not get excited about Zambia and guinea pigs wins. Let's beat somebody of consequence.
It's better than losing to Panama. Yeah.
Right. You leave Zambia and
So the
Guinea
men
alone.
and women both played Zambia in their group stage? Because the women played. Didn't the women have Zambia in theirs too?
I think they did, yeah.
One of the great stories that kids continues going is Andy Murray's somehow survival of his career. Second straight match yesterday where they're facing multiple match points that would end his career, and they somehow find a way to come back and win the match. Yeah, and he keeps on, and like his celebration.
He's so fired up.
Well, yeah, I mean your career's coming to an end.
Is that why? Well, then decide not to retire. Then I mean, he's won 2 golds in the Olympics.
I think so, maybe.
And he's won majors. But you would think that would excite him more.
Like the first match, first match was like 5 match points. This one was 2 match points, I believe it was. Right. They had to fend off. Like he just, like they're finding ways to win these and just prolong his career for at least one more match.
Then you got Alcaraz, you got Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz in doubles. They're doing well. Who knows? Maybe they'll meet. I'm not sure what the bracket is. And then you have Djokovic, who won today, I believe, to move into the quarters of the singles. He knocked off Rafael Nadal in the second round in singles play.
By the way, correction. The men's soccer team, Olympic soccer team, they played New Zealand. They won.
Okay. The women
team played
So it was
Zambia.
the women that played. So only the women played Zambia.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't as big a name as Germany, but I thought it was like a decent name. But then again, I don't know how good New Zealand is under 23 men's soccer. So today's going to be a very busy day with the Olympics. We got plenty of baseball to get to when we return. DeMichael Cole will join us at 9:05 to talk Grizzlies. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at Lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
All 650 acquisition fee, $20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE 794-066, MSRP 21,820, Telluride RG 543-666, MSRP 39,835, EV9 R602, 29,603, MSRP 61,035. Includes all rebates and incentives and PF 695. Includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit valid through 7/31/24. Dealer stock only.
I got Jeff Allen on the line, Gossett Kia, South Mount Moriah. Hey, dude, you ready to rock our world?
You better believe it, Randy. How about 41 MPG Highway in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $37.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride S, $379 per month, $39.99 due at signing. And 304 EPA estimated range for $389 a month in a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite. Or get 0% for 48 months, $49.99 due at signing, all 24-month leases.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Or online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Congratulations to the former Memphis Tiger, Precious Achiuwa. He has re-signed with the New York Knicks. Also, Devontae Graham signs a one-year deal with the Portland Trailblazers. Caleb Williams will not play tomorrow night for the Bears. No starters for the Chicago Bears or projected starters will play in their preseason game, the Hall of Fame game against the Houston Texans. I sure hope that Caleb Williams plays some games in preseason, at least parts of games, as he gets ready to start for the Bears in his rookie year. But I guess it's no big deal in game one, but they put these guys in bubble wrap, but they certainly need reps, rookies. Veterans don't, rookies do.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get some, but probably not a whole lot to be safe.
Yeah, I mean, just a little taste, but tomorrow night there'll be no taste. And then the induction ceremony into Canton will take place on Saturday, I believe.
By the way, I was reading more in this story with Seth Ryder. He apparently was over in Paris last summer for their Olympic test event. So he's already been in the river. He has swam in the river before.
So he was a guinea pig?
And he said, I don't think anyone got sick after the race. That can't be said for about all the races we do. There you go. They're used to swimming in some questionable water.
I'm sure. And I wonder if he washed his hands for those events. So yesterday, 31 trades took place before the deadline came and went at, I think, 5 o'clock Central Time. So I'm starting to jot them down as the trades are taking place on my notes for today's show. And I'm jotting them down, and then I'm starting to put them sideways on my notes, and they're all over the place. And I don't know why I was lazy and didn't start a second page, but there ended up being a ton of trades. Now, were they earth-shattering trades? No, not really, but there were some that were very interesting, and it looked like everybody who was or is perceived to be a competitor, in other words, a buyer, got involved. The Cardinals, who already made the deal the other day where they traded Tommy Edman in that 3-team trade and got Fetty, a starting pitcher, and Tommy Pham, who, by the way, hits a grand slam last night in his return to St. Louis. One-time Memphis Redbird, Tommy Pham. They go out and they are able to make another move, getting Sean Armstrong, starting pitcher, as they deal Dylan Carlson. So young players, Edmond gone, Carlson gone. But to get Armstrong, Fetty, and Tommy Pham, I think they did very well.
Yeah, to not have to give away any of their top prospects, just give up a couple of guys. Who certainly, there is some value to those guys that you gave up, but guys, kind of dealing from a position of depth, I guess, at those positions, feeling they're okay there, to end up getting a starting pitcher, which was badly needed for them, and then a guy in Pham who could come in and do what he did last night and provide some power and things off the bench. Yeah, I think they did pretty darn well.
And they don't trade Jordan Walker, who is still with the Redbirds, and they got to figure out what's going on with him. I don't think there's a sense of urgency, but certainly he's a guy that could have easily been dealt. They decided that they weren't going to deal him, and we'll see what happens for his future. Other deals of note, Dodgers get Jack Flaherty from the Tigers, a one-time Cardinal pitcher, to bolster that pitching staff, which has been hurt badly by injuries.
Yeah, he ends up being the kind of the top starting pitcher that does get moved because Garrett Crochet ends up not being moved by the White Sox. Tarek Skubal did not get moved by the Tigers. So Flaherty kind of became that top prize as far as starting pitchers are concerned. And no real surprise that the Dodgers are the team that go out and get him because that's what the Dodgers do. They go out and acquire whatever it is they need because it doesn't matter to them.
Spend, spend, spend. The Orioles, not known for being big spenders, got a lot of young, talented players, but they do make a move, and they get left-handed starting pitcher Trevor Rogers from the Marlins. They also go out and get outfielder Eloy Jimenez from the White Sox. So the Orioles make a few moves.
Yeah, Jimenez, it just hasn't happened for him at the major league level yet. He was was one of the guys the Cubs traded along with Dylan Cease in that trade back in the day that I did not believe Cease would end up being the way better player of the two, but he has, certainly. But Jimenez, they're hoping, I guess, maybe for a new scenery for him can maybe unlock some of the potential that he was thought to have. And getting, they needed some, they're looking for a little extra starting pitching. I think like their offense doesn't really need help adding a little, maybe a bench guy or whatever, but they certainly needed starting pitching, and Trevor Rogers helps that.
Phillies make another bullpen move. They get reliever Tanner Banks from the White Sox. The Guardians, very quietly, have had a tremendous year. Rookie manager. They go out and get the right-handed pitcher Alex Cobb from San Francisco. I think that's a very good move. Very quiet, under-the-radar move, but a good one.
They're not tied with your Phillies for best record in baseball.
Yeah, Phillies have had a little trouble with the Yankees here the last couple of days.
Every time I say Guardians...
You thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, it makes me think of Jardiance, the damn medicine with the dancing people in the commercials. Like I wish they would have not changed their name to Guardians. Because that's all. Every time I say or hear the name Guardians, my mind immediately goes to people dancing and singing about some medicine that helps whatever it helps.
Is that what it's called, Jardian?
It's Jardians.
So Guardians, the name change, didn't that come before Jardians? Jardians hasn't been around that long, right? Yeah. So, Guardians was there first. Jardians should have changed their name because I'm sure they get confused as well as that American League Central Division leading team.
I keep thinking the Guardians, when they take the field, are going to come out like in a dance routine in order to take the infield, and they'll go through like a change of clothes and everything else. That's all. I'm telling you, every time somebody says Guardians, I think of that damn commercial because I can't get those stupid commercials out of my head.
Well, thank you. Now I will think about that every time. I think of Guardians of the Galaxy every time I think of the Guardians, or every time I mention the Guardians or it's brought up. Padres get closer Tanner Scott from the Marlins, so they get a closer. Padres certainly not out of it. The Pirates...
The Padres killed this trade deadline.
Yeah. Well, they had to with all the injuries they've had.
I mean, to have... Now the back end of that bullpen with Jason Adam, Tanner Scott, and Robert Suarez, dude, that is a nasty 7th, 8th, 9th inning that they've got set up now. They never, they probably overpaid slightly, but they don't care. Like the Padres, every single year, they are going for it and trying to make it happen. But that back end of that bullpen now is, man, I think is nasty.
Rare move by the Pirates. They get a guy I like an awful lot, Brian De La Cruz. They get him from the Marlins. The Twins, they got Trevor Richards. He's a reliever from Toronto. The Royals got Paul DeYoung from the White Sox, the one-time Cardinal and Memphis Redbird. Trying to think if there was anything else that jumps out at me. But 31 trades that were made before the trade deadline took place. Josh Bell, the Diamondbacks picked him up. Now, Josh Bell had been put on waivers by the Marlins and was struggling. Oh, by the way, do the Marlins, the White Sox, and the Rays have enough players in their franchise to be able to field a team?
Well, they all got minor leaguers.
I know.
To bring up. Or the ones they acquired.
That was a lot of, it seemed like every trade that took place involved either the White Sox, the Rays, or the Marlins.
The Yankees getting Mark Leiter Jr. from the Cubs.
Yep, that was a late one. Yep, forgot about that one.
He's had a really, really good year other than one little stretch. But he is huge help for their bullpen.
What did they give up?
A couple prospects. The Royals getting Lucas Erceg who could be their closer. Paul DeYoung really doesn't matter for them, but Erceg could be their closer. They needed some bullpen help, and they were able to get him as well, which could be very big for them as they try and, it was interesting to see. It's like weird to see like the Pirates actually like making trades to acquire things.
That's what I said.
And then the Royals are making trades to acquire things. It's like, well, I'm in a bizarro world, but that's where we stay in Major League Baseball. These are teams that have a chance to do something this year.
Well, first of all, when you have less of a payroll and you're actually in the mix, why not spend a little bit of money? Second of all, since they added the wild cards and then added the extra wild card, and there's more teams now in the postseason, there's a lot more teams that are still in the hunt as we enter August tomorrow. So why not when you have a crack? There's a lot of teams that are still mathematically in this thing and will be probably throughout the month of August, going into the final month of the regular season. All right, we'll take a time out. When we come back, we open up Hour 3 as we do each and every Wednesday. We talk Grizzlies with our buddy DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to give back to communities across the state. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. They're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers and tournament participants as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about how Blue Cross Blue Shield helps communities, please visit bcbst.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym. Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get. Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me. I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real? Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Testanor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean. And it's made a difference for you? Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in a bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text CAR to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text CAR to 42424. That's CAR to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is great because you're rarely rewarded for just being you. Ever get rewarded for being left-handed? No. You get to use weird scissors. Your reward for being a Capricorn? Cold birthdays that conflict with the holidays. And your reward for quickly responding to every work email? More emails. But with Snapshot, even left-handed Capricorns with proper email etiquette could get rewarded for good driving. So download the Progressive app today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states and for all items.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning, T-Dots. Behind a crash over here on 240 westbound. Right at Poplar, it has traffic a little bit slow, mostly rubbernecking down through there between Walnut Grove and Poplar on 240 going westbound. It's still moving right now as we check it out live on 55 northbound coming up through South Haven, all the way up through South Memphis. Hey, Havenly Showers, your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub to curbless shower conversions. Log on today, havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:03 the time. Final hour for us today here on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg, Eli, and Zach with you, broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. They are located at 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Already up to 85 degrees at 9:03. It's going to get up to about 96, 97. High humidity. Should feel like 100 or more with the heat index tonight. Clear skies, a low of 78 degrees, and more sunshine and humidity tomorrow for your Thursday. Coming up in just a moment, DeMichael Cole will join us to talk Grizzlies, as he does every Wednesday. Our third hour sponsor of the program is Jenkins Floors and More. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, and now have the new warehouse open up at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, a short drive from anywhere in the metropolitan Memphis area. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock. They specialize, as I mentioned, in flooring and carpeting, top of the line SPC and WPC vinyls, scratch-resistant, waterproof, ceramic and porcelain tiles. If you're looking for hardwoods, they have them by Portercraft, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, plantation shutters, blinds, and so much more. And they sell it wholesale. Skip the middleman, going to save you a lot of money. They do it for all of you, so residential and commercial, homeowners and contractors. If you're a contractor, you're going to save money on the supplies. You take it to Jenkins, get the job done yourself. Homeowners that could do it themselves, that's fine as well. Same type of deal. Now, if you want Jenkins to do the job for you, this is incredible. They'll come out and give you a free estimate, show you the different samples, what it will look like, anywhere you're located. Just call Jenkins, they'll come to you. And then if you go with Jenkins, you're talking about a 2-week turnaround to get the job done. For more information, call them at 662-469-9350. Financing is available. Or go see them at any of their 3 locations, including their new warehouse location at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. It's Jenkins, Floors, and more. Time now for DeMichael Cole.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal joins us every Wednesday to talk Grizzlies and the NBA. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. DeMichael, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Finally getting to that part of the year where I can just take a deep breath and
well, you can for the most part, but still, there's at least one thing we know that the Grizzlies have to get done, and that's what they're doing with Luke Kennard. We heard the other day that Kennard, and I think you wrote about it, that Kennard will be participating in the Pro-Am out at what you call it? What's the golf course?
Yep.
Spring Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now, it doesn't guarantee that he's a Grizzly when he plays there, right? But all signs point to him being a Grizzly. But no news yet. Are you worried a little bit? Are you a little bit concerned? What do you think the holdup could be?
Yeah, zero concern there.
Okay.
It's going to happen probably at some point here. And I would say there's a strong chance. You know, it's done here soon. So yeah. I think by the time we get there at the golf event, we'll be probably talking about. You know, it'll be probably his first public comment since everything was been done and whatnot. But I really don't know exactly what the holdup is. You know, I know there's some, I guess for lack of a better word, you think like marginal things the Grizzlies can do at this point. I know some people, is there some big move, you know, in the works or anything? I don't think so. I think right now what you're looking at for the most part is what's going to be the roster for this upcoming season. You know, I don't see anything happening with like Santi or Marcus Smart or anything like that. Like, I think these are the guys. And you add Luke Kennard in there, and of course, you know, there'll be probably a couple marginal moves made, whether it's maybe picking up another big for depth, or moving off a player at the bottom of the roster or something like that. But this is pretty much what it's going to be, and I think you can pretty much factor Luke Kennard in to that equation because, you know, he loves Memphis. His family likes Memphis. You know, they just welcomed a new member to the family not too long ago, so they're still kind of getting settled in here and all of that good stuff. And Memphis values him. You know, the team, the franchise values him. So with all those things being said, I'm still not wavered by the timeline.
What is your best guess on what you think the deal may look like?
I think more years, but less value per year than what he was projected to get if the team option was picked up. So that was 14.8. I think we could see a happy medium. 3 years, $33 million makes sense to me. Maybe the Grizzlies do 2 years so they can line it up. You know, kind of when Jaren, you know, with a potential Jaren extension, and then of course you get into, you know, Desmond Bain and John Morant's next contract. But that's way down the road. But more so with the Jaren one. But I think 3 years would be perfect. $33 million, which is less than the $14 million per year range. But in Luke Kennard's case, you get more. You get the, I guess, security from the standpoint of 3 years of guaranteed money. In the Grizzlies' case, you get less of an annual salary, which means that they'll be able to stay, you know, out of the first April.
Meanwhile, on the court, Santi continues to impress at the Olympics, but he has been fantastic.
Yeah, it looks good, right? I mean, all facets of the game. You know, the playmaking. We've seen flashes of that, but the shooting, the scoring, the confidence. You know, he's playing like, hey, I'm the guy. Like,
yeah,
he's the guy, and they like Spain doesn't have another current NBA player on that roster like right now, but Santi knows the history of Spanish basketball, and they got a lot of guys over there. Like Rudy Fernandez is a Spain legend. Sergio Llull, to a lesser degree, you know, is a big time guy, you know, over there. so many others. But basically, Santi's standing out. Like, he looks like, hey, I'm the guy. Get me the ball when we need this to happen, and I'm going to make it happen. He looks a little bit stronger. We'll see how that continues to progress. But I am impressed. And again, when I think about Santi in his role for the Grizzlies, I think he has a role here that is needed very badly because he is that floor stretching big. He is the big that can play alongside of all the other bigs. He can play in a lineup with Jaren Jackson Jr. He can play in a lineup with Zach Edey. He can play in a lineup with Brandon Clark. He is that guy. Zach Edey can't play in a lineup with all those guys. Mm-hmm. Brandon Clark can't play in a lineup with all those guys. Jaren can too, but, you know, Jaren's supposed to be able to. He's an all-star. So with all that being said, I think Santi is a big piece from that perspective. But I'm gonna throw you a curveball here. Throw you a curveball real quick because with Santi playing the way that he's playing in Spain, and I think some of it is translatable because that's the question. Like, how can this translate to, you know, the Grizzlies and whatnot? I think it's more of a confidence thing. Like, for example, I think with his three-point shooting, I think Santi's due for a really good year with three-point shooting. Like, he's been 33, 34% the first 2 years. He shoots way better than that. Like, if you just look at the stroke, the mechanics, and the practice, what we're seeing right now with Spain, he's due for a 37% type of three-point shooting year. So with all that being said, I'm kind of solidified at this point with the idea that he should be in the rotation.
Sure.
But if that's the case, where's Gigi? Like, where does Gigi factor into this? And yet Gigi's only 19, and you got, you know, all the time in the world, but I know a lot of people want to see Gigi play.
It's a good dilemma. I mean, it's a nice problem to have with the emergence of Gigi, who never would have had that opportunity if it weren't for all those injuries. But the one thing about Santi, and we were talking about this yesterday, I want to see, I thought last year when he was able to play, of course, everybody was injured at one time or another, when he was able to play, I thought he had an opportunity, a golden opportunity to take that step up, and he didn't take that step up. So what he's doing now in the Olympics is nice. As Eli said, how does it translate to what he does on the floor for the Grizzlies? I want to see a more aggressive Santi when he gets the opportunity. I want to see him going hard on the boards, but also being more aggressive with his offense. And if so, he's getting those minutes, and we'll see what happens with Gigi. But it's a good problem to have. Now, you have written over the last 24 hours about the new NBA TV deal, which will go into effect the 25-26 season. You say it's a major financial win for the NBA, but what does it mean for the Grizzlies? And then you subsequently wrote about Jaren Jackson Jr. and the possibility of him being a $300 million player. That just, it boggles my mind. It blows my mind. I know it's the going rate. I know that's the direction we're going in. Yeah. I know he's a good player. I can't grasp $300 million for Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, but here, this will probably make it easier for you to tell me, because the only way that it happens, because he still has some requirements to meet to be eligible for the Supermax.
Right.
He'd have to, because it works as you'd have to, 2 out of the past 3 seasons, you'd have to either be Defensive Player of the Year, All NBA, MVP, all these different award designations. He's won Defensive Player of the Year. So now he has to just do one of those things. And more than likely for him, this upcoming season, he has to either win Defensive Player of the Year or he has to make All-NBA. So if he wins Defensive Player of the Year again, that'll be 2 out of 3 years that he's won Defensive Player of the Year. Probably be easier to fathom the idea of paying someone that type of money if, like, they're that type of force defensively.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then, 2, he'd have to be All-NBA if he doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year. Jaren, as good as he's been, All-NBA really hasn't been a talking point up to this point for his career. You know, he made the All-Star game, you know, a couple years ago, but All-NBA, we haven't even really had to dive deep into the idea, you know, of him being that player. So if he's considered one of the 15 best players, you know, throughout the course of an NBA season next season, I mean, that might make it easier to fathom the idea of paying him that type of money. But I mean, I get what you're saying, because, you know, Jaren only made 1 All-Star game, and you know, there's some, you know, like, it's, I feel personally, I think NBA max contracts, and look, I'm happy everybody's getting all their coins in the NBA because some other sports penny pinch a little bit. But in the NBA, like, I mean, we just saw Evan Mobley, kind of get the rookie extension max. And I'm like, I mean, Evan Mobley's still got a lot of room to grow. Like,
he does. Yeah. He does.
It's just what you have to do.
Well, it's what you have to do.
Especially when you're in these markets where you can't sign the big-name free agents. Like, you get your guys, you got to keep them.
I understand that it has to happen. I understand that's the going rate. I do. But you made a great point. If he comes out and he's the Defensive Player of the Year again this upcoming season, that's 2 out of 3, or he's one of the 15 top players as far as all NBA, which I don't think will happen, but you never know. Then absolutely. But I look at this. He was the Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. Last season, I don't think he got a vote.
Nope.
He didn't get a vote, nope. So he dropped like a stone. I know there were injuries and guys around him, but you would think his numbers would actually go up as far as rebounding, blocking shots. He's a terrible rebounder. It bothers me. I like him an awful lot. He's very versatile, and he's certainly a big part of this team. There's no question about it. But when I think of $300 million players, I don't think of Jaren Jackson Jr. That's just me.
Yeah, that's understandable because his draft class will also be eligible. So you're going to see Luka get 3. I mean, Luka's going to break the bank. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander,
right.
He's going to get paid. Trae Young, I think, will be eligible as well. So you're going to see some real, like, right now it's only been Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. This draft class, that 2018 draft class, is where you're going to see some explosion, of money with the way those guys are going to get paid. So, but Jaren, he's in that conversation because he's close to meeting the requirements. Now, if he doesn't meet the requirements, then he gets he still can end up being the highest paid player in Grizzlies franchise history, but he won't be eligible for the Supermax, which is 35% of the salary cap of the Grizzlies salary cap. So he's going to take up a significant portion if he's able to qualify for that Supermax extension.
Well, the other thing about Jaren, regardless of what you think, like right now, the contract he's on is a bargain for what he gives you.
Yep.
So, like, even if you think, we're overpaying him, well, you've done very well on the current contract of Jaren Jackson Jr.
Jaren would have got a max if he was, probably the wrong time because if Jaren was in a similar, like, if you look at Jaren's earlier stats compared to Evan Mobley, like, he would have got a max. Like, yes. So I agree with you on that end, and he has the de-escalating deal and whatnot. Like, I mean, maybe that's part of his agency's case. Like, hey, look, you kind of you had a defensive player of the year on a de-escalating contract. Like, let's make sure we give him all his coins this time around. But it won't be just interesting. Like the extension part of this is interesting because I think the Grizzlies could only give him 1 or 2 extensions at that point, and if they don't, then he's headed for free agency, which is different from, when you're a rookie scale free agent player because you're a restricted free agent and the Grizzlies can match anything. And now you open the idea if you're unwilling to, like if he qualifies for the Supermax and you're unwilling to pay him that extension, like if the Grizzlies are saying, like you were saying, Greg, hey, look, we want to give you the money, but let's see it one more season before you go into unrestricted free agency to make sure this is the right decision. Then you open the idea of him entertaining other offers.
Yeah, and Eli's point again about what free agents are going to come to Memphis. You have these guys; they're incredibly talented. You're going to pay them. You have to pay them, and it's also where we are in the NBA. And you made the point about Cleveland. I thought Cleveland may break things up. They decided not to. They're paying a lot of money over 3 or 4 guys. And the Grizzlies are doing the same. Now you want to get some benefits from it, right? You want the payoff. The problem will be, what happens 2 to 3 years from now if there's no payoff by the Grizzlies? Forget about last year. We know they had 2 great years and then struggled in the postseason. Last year was an anomaly with all the injuries. Well, the next 2-3 years are pivotal. Let's say they barely get into the playoffs, get knocked out in the first round. What do you do? What direction do you go in? Now, if they have success, then you're riding this sucker. As long as these guys are happy and all that, everybody else is happy. But what happens if Memphis is they don't even reach the top 6? They're a 7th team. They're in the play-in. They win, and then they lose their first round. Where do you go from there, paying out all that money to basically 4 guys if you include Marcus Smart?
Yeah, because this will be the first time, if you give Jaren that extension, I think this will be the first time, for lack of better words, the Grizzlies will be handicapped financially. Like, you will be extremely limited in what you can do. And that's where, like, if you're going to give Jaren Jackson Jr. an extension, quite frankly, I highly doubt Marcus Smart is going to stick around much longer after that, because you're really penny pinching at that point, because now you got a Vince Williams on a real friendly contract. Now you put him in the starting lineup, and you kind of you need to stay out of the second apron at that point, and paying a guy 35% of the salary in addition to 2 other guys hitting 25% apiece. 3 players alone will take up 85% of your salary cap space. That's just your allotted space, and you're going to go over that because, when you factor in Marcus Smart's deal or Brandon Clark's deal, that puts you close to pretty much all of the salary cap space that's available.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Jaren's, that extension wouldn't kick in till 26-27. By then, Marcus Smart's contract is done. So, yes, you let him go or whatever. And the thing with Jaren, like, if you're signing him to that extension, you're signing him to that extension at 25, 26 years old still. It's not like you're signing 30-year-old Jaren Jackson Jr. to this. Like, you're still getting him at 25, 26 years old. The extension will only go till he's like 31 years old.
Yeah, exactly. That's I think when you pay these guys these type of deals, what the NBA franchises in the front office kind of convince themselves is you're paying for what the guy will become. Like you're rewarding them, yes, but the contract is supposed to be what you believe the player is going to become. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, will look at what Jaren has done to this point, and I'm with you, Greg, like on the rebounding. Like that is something that I just don't project him to ever be great at that. And whatnot. But at the same time, you look at what he's done and what he can be. And each year to this point, I confidently look at Jaren Jackson Jr. and say he has progressed at something significantly. Like each season, like last year, not this past season, the year before this one, was the first season where I felt like there were real, almost consistent signs. Like there were longer stretches of him being dominant offensively. Like he had that stretch in March before the playoffs, early April, and then, of course, the playoff series against the Lakers. He had game 1 where he's, guardable, and then after that, it wasn't the same. So he's had longer stretches of that dominance, and then this past season, he was going at teams. Like, whether it was just because other guys weren't available or what, but he had that look in his eye like, man, these dudes can't guard me one-on-one. And now as he continues to build on that from a confidence standpoint, you could get another level of offense from him in addition to what he's able to do defensively. And that could unlock, that 28, like that guy who at 27, 28 years old who could really, be playing the best basketball of his career.
Yeah, well said. DeMichael Cole joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Final thing for you. You wrote about this, or at least tweeted it out, and I saw that it's the same as I've talked about here on the show, the whole situation with the U.S. Olympic basketball team, the men's Olympic basketball team, and Jason Tatum. I don't get it. I don't even understand why they had to make this a big issue, and Kerr had to answer a question about why he didn't play Tatum. He's got 12 guys. He decides who he wants to play. The goal is to win. They won going away, so Tatum didn't play. I mean, boo-hoo. I'm sure he's going to play in the next game, but why did that become such an issue?
People just want something to complain about, Greg. Like, at the end of the day, the goal is to win. And they did that, and they dominated Serbia. Like, we're not talking, with all due respect to all the countries that have made feeling, we're not talking about, some team that they were expected to beat by 26 points. Like, this was expected to be a decently close game, and they ran away with it. And, no, Jason Tatum didn't play, but guess what? Like, who are you going to take out of there? Drew Holiday was causing havoc, defensively. Devin Booker went 4 or 5 on three-pointers. He wasn't missing shots, so you're going to replace Devin Booker? I don't think so. Kevin Durant, 8 of 9 overall. otherworldly game coming off the bench, by the way. So that's what Tatum would have been. You're not replacing him for Kevin Durant. And LeBron was probably the best player on the floor. That's another wing. You're not taking LeBron out. So, like, when people say these things, I say, okay, well, show me who you're going to replace for him, because it's easy to say a guy should play. And here's the simple thing for me, and I'll always say this in basketball. Like, this has to be one of my signature things before I'm done covering basketball. I always say name over game. Name over game is what makes basketball so unique. I always say, you can give me the 5 best offensive linemen in the NFL. You say, DeMichael, I'm going to give you the top left tackle, the top left guard, center, right guard, and right tackle. I'm going to have the best offensive line in the NFL easily. If you give me the top point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center in the NBA, I got to worry about how cohesion is going to work. Because more times than not, if these guys are the top players, they have the ball in their hands a lot. So now I got to worry about, okay, how this guy's going to play, how this guy's going to get his touches. But you can give me a different lineup with guys with an OG Anunoby type player, lower usage, a two-way player. Give me a Tyson Chandler in his prime, who's just going to catch lobs, block shots, protect the rim. And I can put 3 stars around those type of dudes, and we can beat that team that has the 5 superstars that are the best at each position. So basketball is more of a sport of starring in your role, and Jason Tatum's role is that of a superstar. It just so happens that they have other superstars as well. So, look, there are going to be matchups, and Tatum and Kurt said that, like, there are going to be matchups where he makes more sense. So I just don't understand. Like, it'd be different if, Team USA won by 2 points and it was like, could Jason Tatum have made a difference? Like, they popped off of
Right. I mean, they used the exhibitions to figure out combinations. They didn't have Durant. They used Durant to open the game. I mean, as far as, get him in the flow. The flow is so good. Why break up the flow? And you're not going to bring Tatum in with 1 minute to go. That's embarrassing to even put him in at the end of the game. So Kerr did the right thing. And look, I've criticized Kerr, and other people have, and rightly so, but not for that game, not for that performance, and not for not using Jason Tatum. He's DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for The Commercial. He'll read all his great stories at the CA. Follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC, and catch him every Wednesday talking with us right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thanks, DeMichael. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, take care, guys.
You too.
Folks, if the Olympics have you thinking about becoming a runner, we haven't seen the track and field yet, but we will next week. And if you're thinking, man, I could do that.
Yeah.
You need to go get proper shoes and all the gear. You know the place to go. That would be Fleet Feet. Either one of their 2 locations, East Memphis, Laurelwood Shopping Center, out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy, next door to Huey's. Go in there. They take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, get you fitted with shoes that are just right for you, plus everything else that you need to become an Olympian. They've got you taken care of at Fleet Feet. Also online, fleetfeetmemphis.com, and on social media. They keep you up to date with things they've got going on, things you can get involved with, like their group runs and other things they do. They're all about the runners, the running community at Fleet Feet.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham of Sunrise View at GFC Truck. It's our 35th anniversary of Sunrise, and we're celebrating with savings that are bigger than ever. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from with huge savings. It's a used car buyer's dream. Check it out at sunrisememphis.com. Hundreds of used cars and trucks with a lot specializing in cars and trucks under 20,000. Bad credit? It's okay. You're approved at Sunrise. Remember, we specialize in secondary financing. New cars and trucks aren't free, but at least they're affordable at the 35th anniversary sale going on now at all Sunrise locations. Coming from Pike Blue Chase and Collierville.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Simple, smooth, and every sip is easier to last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's.
For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Genesis Diamonds is opening up the vault with our largest GIA diamond event ever. Starting Saturday for a limited time, all our GIA diamond engagement rings will be marked down 20%.
That's 20% below Genesis' already unbeatable price. This means you can buy like a dealer buys with deep discounts on over $10 million in stunning diamond rings.
Savings on every GIA diamond engagement ring, a half carat to 20 carats, all shapes, too. Platinums, gold, ring cuts, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts.
Remember, all Genesis diamonds are handmade to come straight from the diamond cutters that are rated by the GIA, the most prestigious gem market in the world.
Genesis everyday prices are unbeatable. Take advantage of additional 20% savings.
Don't miss this chance to save like never before. This one's a diamond ring. Buy like a dealer buys. Starting Saturday for a limited time. Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Fuels and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Tomorrow, our buddy Pete Medhurst, the voice of Navy, will join us at 7:25. We'll talk some American Conference football with Pete. And then Kerry Miller at 8:25 to kind of recap everything that went down in baseball before the trade deadline came and went yesterday, as we now get ready for the approximately final 50 games of the regular season. And there are a bunch of shootouts going on in the Major League Baseball pennant races. So yesterday afternoon, I watched live the gymnastics. And you and I talked about this during a break. So I'm watching, and I believe it was Rich Lerner and Hernandez. I forget her first name, the former gymnast for Team USA. And it was that tandem. And I watched, and the United States won gold. And then at night, my wife comes home. She hasn't seen any of this. And so I'm sitting there, all right, I'll watch it. I know everything I watch from the afternoon is on again at nighttime. But it's a different broadcast team. And so...
And the U.S. won again.
And they won again.
Shockingly enough.
It's the same stuff, but it wasn't said the same way.
2 golds yesterday.
It was Terry Gannon. It was, I think, Tim Daggett was part of it. They had another woman that was an analyst. Anyway, I understand what they're doing. The NBC, this is prime time, right? The most important time of the day as far as television and television ratings and things of that nature are concerned. There are people that basically tuned out throughout the day so they don't know the results. This is the first time they're watching it. So I understand, again, that you're going to put on a different show there. But it's interesting to see that they just don't rerun what they ran earlier in the day, because if you didn't watch it and you don't know the results, it's brand new to you. And if you already watched it, you're probably not going to do something idiotic like I did and watch it again. But I did with a different broadcast team. So I was asking you, what do you think they do? Do they have 2 different teams, one live, one that they're broadcasting for, and just play that? Or are the evening primetime broadcasters basically talking over video? And you said you think they're talking over the video. I guess
yes, I think
spliced in with the Nat sound.
I think they are definitely broadcasting it off of the video, just because if you watch it, like especially if you did, like they recognize things that they wouldn't have recognized quickly, like they knew because they know what happened, so they're able, like the wink by Jordan Childs to the camera, like the early people didn't see that at all until they showed the replay, but the other ones were commenting immediately how she plays to the camera and everything else, and because she started her routine with a wink to the camera.
Yes, and I absolutely hate it. Again, I understand what they're doing. I absolutely hate it, and I'll tell you why in a second. Now, do you believe that all those announcers are there in Paris?
I assume most of them are. I don't know. I'm sure there's some events that have announcers probably that aren't there.
So we got into during COVID, we got into that situation where we were doing a lot of broadcasts in our house or wherever the case may be, in the studio, right? You've done it. I've done it. I remember doing a baseball game. Memphis was playing at Arkansas, and Jeff Brightwell and I did the broadcast from Jeff's home. And Jeff had a great setup and all that, and it was easy peasy. But we knew before something was going to happen by a few seconds. We knew it. Now, I made sure that I didn't broadcast it knowing and sounding like that guy, oh, yeah, I guessed every pitch that was coming. No, I played it off. I did not do that at all. But you made the example right there about the wink and things like that. As long as they know it all, they know what's going on, don't play it up like you're some evil genius and you're able to guess everything correctly. Just let it flow if you're going to do that. But again, it bothers me knowing that they're broadcasting. Again, if the assumption is that they are broadcasting live over the videotape, that they already know everything that has happened. Here's a little, to me, this is the Olympic viewing hack that I have figured out for these Olympics because of the fact they are showing everything live during the day and then they come back and show the same stuff at night, obviously, because nothing's going on. Record the date. Even if you can't watch it during the day, you want to watch it at night, record the daytime coverage, because then you can just fast forward through all the crap at night while you watch it. That's your little Olympic viewing hack. Because it'll tell you, if you go to the guide on your TV, it'll tell you what's on in that segment of Olympics. So if you go, here's the gymnastics, I'm going to record this. Then at night, just watch that whenever you want to watch it, and you get to fast forward through commercials. You get to fast forward through if there's anything else you don't want to watch, just fast forward it through it, and then it's very much simpler to watch it that way. Yeah. Now, what they do in the prime time, again, this happens because of the time difference. Obviously, it's not happening if it's in the United States, but they edit in interviews and things of that nature that they didn't have available at the time of the live broadcast. Different reactions from different family members, and even for example, in the afternoon, they had Fink, the swimmer. I think it was Fink. It may have been another swimmer. It was his sister. It was his sister. And they showed the same thing at night. Yes, except that then they had Fink talking to the sister. I didn't see that in the afternoon. They do that in the afternoon. Oh, did they? Okay, I just missed it. That all was the same as that afternoon. But sometimes they add an extra interview in. There's a Melissa Stark interview that I didn't see during the day. But again, it's the same thing. It's just, it's a little deceiving. That's what it is. But I completely understand what they're trying to do. I just don't like it. It's not authentic to me because, again, they know everything that has happened. Like I said, I did a broadcast, knew a few seconds before it was going to happen. I wasn't going to say, hey, I bet you hits a home run here. I have actually guessed at times. To be fair, the people in the afternoon knew America was going to win gold. Everybody knew what was going to happen. Well, no. Unless people could have stayed away from social media and did not know the result at all, and they're watching it for the first time. No, again, everybody knew America was going to win gold. In the gymnastics. Oh, they knew that everybody knew what was going to happen in gymnastics. But for example, when I do a baseball broadcast, I'll say sometimes like, he had a good swing that last swing. I just got a feeling he gives him a fastball, he's going to take it over the wall, and he does. It wasn't that I saw it happening. In the case of the one that we did on television, basically broadcasting ahead of the broadcast, I knew what was going to happen, but did not want to use that to make me sound like this evil genius.
How did you know what was going to happen before it happened?
It was because we had the internet, and it was ahead. We saw it. It was like
so you didn't get to see it happen. You knew that a guy hit a home run. You didn't watch him hit the home run, and then.
No, I remember we saw stuff. I forget how it was set up. I don't know. It was set up. Jeff's great at that technology stuff, not me. But I'm pretty sure we saw it, not just like read about it or heard it. We saw it ahead of time, and then we're doing our broadcast. I don't know what it was, Eli, but I'm telling.
Well, why weren't you broadcasting off that video?
I don't know what it was. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Jeff would have to explain it. But I'm telling you, we saw stuff right a couple of seconds ahead of time. But we didn't play it off of that. We played it off the broadcast we were doing. And it worked out perfectly, but it wasn't like a Tony Romo who is not privy to that information, just kind of guesses from his knowledge of having played the game what is going to happen. We could have looked like, oh my gosh, either those guys are incredibly intelligent or something's not kosher because they know everything that's going to happen. But again, I get home, if I don't have anything to do, I'm going to watch the Olympics. And at night, I've learned now I'm going up to one of my other televisions in the house because I can't sit there and watch the same darn thing again.
Genesis Diamonds, if you're looking for that special piece of jewelry for a special occasion, go see the folks at Genesis Diamonds. They're going to take great care of you and helping you find whatever that perfect piece of jewelry is. If it's an engagement ring, certainly the selection is absolutely out of this world. All of the top designers, massive selection of diamonds, all different shapes, all different sizes, lab-grown natural diamonds, whatever it is you're looking for, whatever your budget is, they have something for you at Genesis Diamonds. And again, they got great people to help you pick out that perfect piece of jewelry. Plus, anything else. Well, maybe it's not an engagement ring. Maybe it's a wedding band. Maybe it is just a pair of earrings or a necklace or whatever it is. Maybe it's colored gemstones and not diamonds. Whatever you're looking for. Pre-owned Rolex watches. They've got it all for you. Unbelievable selection. Great prices. Great service. That's what you're going to find at Genesis Diamonds. Plus, if they back up their product with fantastic warranties, service, all kinds of other stuff that they do to make sure that you are not just a one-time customer. You're going to be a repeat customer when it comes to Genesis Diamonds after the service and care that you get from Genesis Diamonds. Poplar and Perkins Extended, that's where you'll find them, Genesis Diamonds.
All right, final segment coming up. We'll get back to some of the headlines, some of the things we talked about earlier in the show, more on the Daily Memphian Top 25 Memphians in sports over the last 24 years, this century. That's been a nice debatable topic. We'll do that when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Smoke is our sauce.
What is the Central Barbecue slogan? What are we playing?
Well, I just think that we don't emphasize often enough that even though Central Barbecue offers a variety of sauces at all of their many locations, Central Barbecue's barbecue doesn't even really need the sauce.
We should mention that more often. Central Barbecue doesn't take any shortcuts. The barbecue at Central Barbecue is slow smoked Memphis style for 24 hours to make it so flavorful you really don't need sauce.
That was my point. Well, boy, do they have great sauces.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to go sauce-free at Central Barbecue. I'm just saying I could.
Again, exactly my point. Look at my copy. It's the first thing I said. You just hijacked the commercial.
See how it feels?
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns, to turnovers, and overturned plays.
After review, pass incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV, and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and quotas apply.
It's the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event, and you won't find a better bang for your buck. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike and get 43 MPG Highway and 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,980 or $299 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $26,530 or $379 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $26,530 or $379 a month. And get vacation ready in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,900 or $399 $9.99 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossip Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it and Gossip Motor Cars.
500 military rebate, 500 loyalty, and 500 trade-in assist. Mirage, RHO 10843, MSRP 18480. Sport, RU1 11873, MSRP 28030. Outlander, RCO 63695, MSRP 314. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor, you're an owner. So whether you're planning for retirement or trying to save up for your next big adventure, Vanguard will help work alongside you to set personalized investment goals. That's the value of ownership. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Vanguard Marketing Corporation, distributor.
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. And once again, Barbara Gaston and Eli Support.
I don't think Ben Simmons has a lot of fans. He certainly doesn't have a fan in George Niang. I was reading this story during the break. This was from Richard Jefferson's podcast, where he had George Niang on as a guest, and it's called Road Trip in the podcast. And Niang talked about signing a 2-year deal with the Sixers ahead of the 21-22 season. That was when Simmons was a part of that Sixers team. And here's what he said. In Philly, it was and I don't want to beat a dead horse with it because I actually feel bad at this point, the Ben Simmons thing. That pissed me off because guys are trying to make a living, right? I came from Utah. I signed like just a little over the minimum. And I'm like, this is perfect. I'm a spot-up shooter. This guy effing drives to the lane. Everybody collapses. He kicks out. I was like, this is going to be great for my career. I signed a 2-year deal. And then he was like, I'm not playing. Niang went on to explain that he would greet Simmons around the team facilities as requested by the Sixers in an effort to welcome him back in. Simmons would merely respond with a nod, which is when Niang decided his mind would not be changed. That's when I was like, F this dude. If I get an opportunity to play against this dude, I'm just going to be an a-hole. I bet most guys who have played with him feel that same way. Quit on him. Absolutely quit on him.
And he's a guy that makes a lot more money than Jaren Jackson Jr.
Well, that's ridiculous. Today, 2 o'clock, USA basketball versus South Sudan. Second game for the Americans. And soccer, the women in action as the United States will play Australia. That will be 3 o'clock. A couple of the highlights of today's Olympic action. Katie Ledecky back in action as well. More gymnastics as things really heat up in Paddy. And then we have our buddy Seth Ryder in the triathlon from Germantown, one of 2 Memphians involved in the Olympics.
The Team USA basketball, the line is down to 28.5.
Big money thrown on South Sudan to drop it from 29.5 to 28.5.
Steph Curry over under 12.5 points. Judging by the fact that Steve Kerr said they want to get Steph Curry going, I think the over 12.5 could be the way to go.
What do you have in game
Steph
1?
Curry. He hit that 1-3 early. I think he hit 2. He hit the 1-3, the crazy fadeaway 3, and then he hit the wide open 3. I'm not sure if he had any. I can't remember if he had what he ended up with. I know he hit those 2 threes. I think those were the only 2 threes he hit. Maybe I don't think he hit one in the second half.
Do you have others on there? I'm curious what Tatum is and what Durant is.
Durant is 14.5.
Thought it'd be a little higher because I'd like to play the under on Durant. What's Tatum?
Tatum is not one of the options here on. I'm looking at FanDuel.
Because I'd love to see like Tatum at like 6 because
they've got
Kerr's going to feel bad. And he's going to play him a ton. Watch.
They've got Holiday, Booker, Embiid, Davis, Edwards, Curry, Durant, and LeBron as the options on FanDuel.
By the way, I take that back. If it's a close game like it was in the exhibition against South Sudan, and he's playing Tatum, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, let me roll with the lineup I had in the first game against Serbia. So I don't know, but I don't see the South Sudanese playing him toe to toe like the first game.
Most people believe that it'll be Tatum instead of Bam for this game because South Sudan doesn't have the size. They have more wing guys, so they'll go with Tatum over Bam instead of going that Bam, Anthony Davis, second unit. Tatum will be in there.
Well, if that's the case, I'd love to see one of the betting options where he has a point total because it can't be a lot. He didn't play the first game.
Curry had 11 points.
11. Okay. Did he hit 3 threes or just the 2?
He hit 3.
Yeah, okay, he must have hit one in the second half. Steph Curry over 2.5 threes. Now it's minus 178, but that would be that feels like a lock.
Don't look at give horse in the mouth, but I'm not betting a minus 178.
But yeah, 28.5 is the current line. If you don't believe the USA is going to win, if you think it's going to be another close game, USA to win by 1 to 10 points is plus 1,500.
Whoa. I think they're going to blow them out this time, but man, that's some good odds right there. An Olympic record just set by the Australian duo of Molly O'Callaghan and Ariane Titmus. They go 1 and 2 in the women's 200-meter free. They are some good swimmers down under. The Australians, especially the Australian women, but the men as well. Memphis Tigers football begin camp today. Opening day for the University of Memphis on a quest to have a season like none other, where they can win the conference championship game, and then be the Group of 5 representative in the first ever 12-team playoff. Again, Tigers getting underway today. We've been talking a lot about the Daily Memphian and their list of top 25 Memphians this century. They revealed 10 through 6 today. If you missed it, Austin Riley from the Atlanta Braves, 10. Pau Gasol, 9. Tony Pollard, 8. Matt Cain, 7. And Cindy Parlow-Cone, 6. We've been debating who will be their top 5. I don't think there's any question that John Morant, D'Angelo Williams, and Marc Gasol are 3 of the 5. But we kind of gone back and forth with Zach Randolph. You think there's a chance he might not be there. I think he has to be. If you got Tony Allen on this top 25 list, I think you got to have Zebo on this list. But other names that we have brought up, Derrick Rose, of course, I would think he'd be on the list. Michael Orr deserves to be on the list. Other great players that we've discussed who had great careers in Memphis include Thaddeus Young, right, would go on to be a longtime NBA player, still in the NBA, star at Georgia Tech. Rodney Carney, one of the greats from the University of Memphis. I just don't see Carney being in the top 5, and I don't see Thad Young being a part of this list. But between Ja, D'Angelo, Zebo, Marc Gasol, Derrick Rose, Michael Orr, unless I'm missing somebody else, one of those 5 not going to be on the list. And you said you're going to go off if it's not Michael Orr.
I was going to go off.
If it is Michael Orr.
I was just going to say that you said there was no right or wrong. And I was going to say there's wrong.
Well, in your opinion.
If Michael Orr is not in the top 25, that's wrong.
Well, I think it's wrong too. But again, you're entitled to your opinion. And I don't know how many they had voting. So, but somebody's getting left out. So, but you think Zach Randolph wouldn't be a wrong necessarily?
Well, they could be wrong. I'm just guessing who might not. I don't get it.
So they're going to be wrong one way or another, right? With the 6 we've come up with for 5 spots, somebody's missing out. So you would give it a wrong because that means that person not only didn't make the top 5, they didn't make the top 25.
Yeah. So the voters over there were wrong.
And if it's Mark and Zebo and Ja, that's 3 Grizzlies, and Derrick Rose would be 4 Grizzlies. Of course, D. Rose didn't do the damage with the Grizzlies. He just happens to be a member right now. That would be something, along with D'Angelo Williams. But I got to think Michael Orr would be on there. I think they've done a pretty nice job with this list. thinking outside the box a little bit, being all-inclusive, looking at all different sports. So, again, there's guys and gals that I think that could easily be on the list that they don't have, but that's how tough it is, narrowing it down to 25.
By the way, both of our 3-on-3 basketball teams are favored today. Men are favored by 4.5 against Poland. Women are favored by 5.5 against Azerbaijan.
Well, they both lost yesterday.
Over under 35.5 in the men's game.
So the three women playing in 3-on-3 are WNBA players currently? Is that what you said?
At least 2 of them are, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if all 3 are, but I'm pretty sure 2 of them are.
The men have Jimmer Fredette, who's everybody's heard of. And then the other members, have you ever heard of them?
Kenyon Barry, I've heard of him. He played in G League for
Rick Barry's son, right. And who's the other guy? And then there's
2 other guys.
Right,
The other 2 guys I don't know.
Yeah,
they both played college basketball.
I know, but these guys should be they should be pretty much household names. I don't understand. I'd love to know how they come to the conclusion that they come to in putting together these 3-on-3 teams, which, again, both lost in their first game. Doesn't mean that they won't end up medaling. We'll see. Should be a delightful day with the Olympic Games in Paddy. That'll do it for us today. I want to thank Brian Moss and DeMichael Cole for joining us on the show. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, we'll talk some American Conference football with the voice of Navy, Pete Medhurst. Kerry Miller will join us from Bleacher Report to talk Major League Baseball. We'll recap everything that happened in the Olympics on Wednesday, tomorrow morning. And we'll talk about some Memphis Tigers football after they go through their first practice today over at South Campus. Rollo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.